Welcome to Yellow Road. I am Jordan, and today we're gonna watch fake comedian Steven Crowder debate debate comedian Dave Smith. But first, watch the shit. Watch it. Don't avert your eyes.
Israel has a high quality of living and is often at the forefront of modern technology. They sell rugs.
It's not nice when you have a more powerful military to use it effectively to protect your borders. It's not nice to blow away Palestinians when they're trying to breach your wall. Just like it's not nice to shoot a home invader. Couldn't you have shot him in the leg? Is it right to blow away 50-something plus people if some of them are laying down landmines? It's certainly morally acceptable.
I think the main point should be if we go into a country, you go in to win, you kill their leaders, you break stuff, you end it. There needs to be a civil war in Islam. We need Muslims. We need you to take up arms. There needs to be a systemic approach from Muslims to petition, to protest, to politically and violently actively fight this small contingency of Islamic cancer spreading across the world. We need them to do that. Otherwise, it has to be nukes.
An 18-wheeler spins out of control, and it's all like, brush! In this huge tanker full of diamonds, crawl, crawl.
I missed that one. Anyways, before we get started, don't forget to share, support, hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Please check them out, read them, share them, then donate if you feel like. All of it is very much appreciated. Also, please check out the Discord link if you want to join that. All opinions are welcome, even dumb fuck Steven Crowder, neocon guy, evangelist, Christian, whatever the fuck you want to call it. All of it is welcome. All opinions. Just nothing pornographic or grotesque. That's all I ask for. And obviously, all the videos you see in this video will be linked in the description box for your own. If you don't want to hear us pausing or talking or having opinions or whatever, if you don't want to hear that, please watch the video, this video we're going to watch here. Completely unadulterated and on its own. So please take advantage of that if you're inclined to. Unless you want to hear our opinions, then please stick around. Now, before I get to the main video, I did want to show this. Obviously, it was on screen. As you can see here, Ben Shapiro on ladder with Crowder. If Iran loses, everybody wins. And this is an old video. It's 7 years old, as you can see here. And I remember me and James, what the fuck, dude? Like, how are these guys popular? It's because there's no real thing there yet, right? We talked about Steven Crowder being like a guy who avoids foreign policy, because if you actually heard his foreign policy ideas, like you heard in the little intro video, it's pretty scary and dark, and you'd be like, damn, this guy's like a devil worshiper. Well, that's probably where it leans into. Let's just be honest. This guy on his show is a full-blown sociopath or psychopath, whatever you want to call it. And yes, he will advocate for the mass killings of other people. He will. And he'll give it an excuse. And in fact, he says in his own words, which is not in that video, unfortunately. I wish I had that clip back then. But he will say something like, we need to forego our Christian principles for the sake of American policy, which is, to me, the definition of devil worshipping. Where you use the idea of God for the sake of your own political purposes, or any other purpose, right? Sort of mission of harm, and you use God's name in regards to it. That is devil worshipping to me by quite a bit. And I'm not going to play this video, but it will be linked for you guys to watch on your own. Back when Crowder and Shapiro were, buddy-buddy. And you'll get a little flavor of Crowder's foreign policy stances. They are very much Douglas Murray-like, in my humble opinion. But, let's be fair. Maybe he changed. Maybe Crowder
Steven's great. Shut up.
I'm sorry, Steven Crowder. Maybe you changed.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be fair to Crowder.
Thank you.
But something tells me I'm right. So.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, the master of foreign policy debate, Dave Smith, is here to take on Crowder, and knock down his neocon policies, hopefully. If Crowder still has them, maybe Crowder's, changed his tune. We will find out. And without further ado, let's hear exclusive Crowder debates comedian Dave Smith on Trump, Israel, and America First. Here we go.
Comedian. He is host of Part of the Problem, a funny podcast. Go and watch that, listen to that. Mr. Dave Smith.
What the fuck is this?
Mr. Smith, can you see me? Can you hear me, sir?
I can indeed. Do you see and hear me?
I do, and I'm angry because you seem to be aging at a much slower rate than the catcher's mitt in front of you.
Is that true?
Oh,
Yeah, it is. You got that thick head of black hair, and it's like every day I wake up and I have a new wrinkle. So you and John Stossel, adrenochrome, we don't
Look,
need to
he's
talk about
confident,
Did
okay?
you just tell me I have a thick head of hair? Do you have body dysmorphia? How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as a bald man, Stephen?
No, I don't see myself as a bald man. I just see your hair as luscious, and we don't need to talk about that right now.
I see a
this
good
is now.
grip.
See, this is veering into people want
That's
to
what Crowder
see
sees.
blood, kid. But look, Dave, did I miss anything as far as like plugs or their upcoming shows? I know your podcast, your ex. What's the best place for people to go find you?
No, all that stuff's good. ComicDaveSmith.com is my website if people want to go check that out. But all that was good.
Okay. Well, and I'm very glad that we've had you on the show. I know you had some scheduling issues, and I just want to set the stage here for a little bit, and then I want to give you the floor. Look, I think here's the reason that you're on the show. For people who don't know, this goes back several months. I think that you and I agree on a whole lot more than we disagree, which is why I was surprised at some of your takes. For example, like I think on foreign aid, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on any of this or you disagree, I don't think we should be providing foreign aid to anybody, Israel included, as well as all the surrounding nations. I think we fund all sides of this war. I think we do that a whole lot. Stop all of it. Let the chips fall where they may. I agree with you that no one should have secret nukes. I think that Israel's nukes are so secret that Dave Smith and Steven Crowder can talk about it on a podcast, but I don't think that anyone should be able to have some kind of a different protocol on nukes. AIPAC, I've said they should go screw themselves with a wire brush. I don't like any lobbying group that acts outside of America's interests. I think we would agree on most of that. And as I understand...
I mean, he really understands it. He really does. He gets it.
That's changed. That position's changed.
No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't, Upster, because it's actually trickery. It's trickery, but go ahead.
He subtracted that I don't like AIPAC because they're Democrats.
No, that is what he's saying. That's literally what he's saying.
He didn't say that right there. He didn't say that.
That's what he... Come on. Go on. That's what he means, right? That's what he means by that, is that they support Democrats too. So you know what? Fuck you, AIPAC. But he says it that, like, well... Right, he did that video to explain that, so that in moments like this, he could say, you know what, screw you, AIPAC, and look like one of the cool kids, right? Like, look, Crowder's waking up. Crowder's going against Israel, see? People are waking up, finally. But in reality, it's like, he's just pulling you back to the left-right paradigm. But, okay, let's play there. Maybe Dave doesn't know that. Maybe Dave didn't do his research, or whatever. Let's find out. Here we go.
You're pro-life. You've talked about that. I know when we test called, you have a cute little guy about the same age as mine, and I think that fundamentally changes you. All of these things, we'd be aligned. This is why I'm such a universe apart, where when I invited you on the show, where you called for impeaching President Trump. That's definitely a divergence.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
I don't see how that's better for America or the movement if we agree on so much. Could you, the floor is yours, sir.
Okay, well, yeah, I think I certainly would agree with you on all the things that you outlined there. But I think I would go a bit further and say that not only am I very critical of the foreign aid to Israel or critical of AIPAC, but I'm also very critical of the neoconservatives who are essentially, a core constituency in the Israel lobby. I'm very critical of I'm very critical of the Republican Party that essentially allowed the neocons to become the drivers of U.S. foreign policy in the George W. Bush administration, and many people who still have those same tendencies. I mean, the Mark Levins and Ted Cruz's and people like that, well, maybe not officially, technically neocons, certainly are in effect no different from them. And so in terms of, one of the things in terms of me calling for Trump's impeachment, one of the things that's interesting to me is that I got so many people as a response to that who essentially, were saying Ben Shapiro and Josh Hammer and all these guys criticizing me. Look at him. He's betrayed Donald Trump. All the neocons, Mark Levin, the never Trumpers. The original 2016 never Trumpers. Like, I still remember that copy of National Review. I'm sure you do too. They all said, but no, look, to me, I don't have any loyalty to any politician because I'm a free man in the United States of America.
Sure.
Donald Trump launched a war of choice, a war of aggression on behalf of a foreign country while we were in the middle of negotiations with said country. I thought it was an unbelievably reckless decision. Thankfully, at least for now, it didn't turn into a catastrophe like many of the other conflicts have. And Trump deserves certainly a good portion of the credit for that. But no, I don't take that back at all. I am not. I believe that America should only fight wars when America is threatened, and I don't believe in this adventurism, which I think is absolutely crazy. Which continues under the Trump administration, continued under the Biden, and obviously the Obama and Bush administrations. I'm against all of this stuff. So yeah, I was loudly in opposition to the Iran war.
Okay.
Dave, you should set up the standard. Once again, when he says the U.S. and Iran were in negotiations, showcase the standards of them actually in quote unquote negotiations. Because if you look at it, it's like they were at a blatant stalemate, were they not, Dave? Of the amount of enrichment versus like not enriching at all, right? They were red lines that were, to this day, have not been like, yeah, we changed our stance on that. So thus, you're not in negotiations. You're not really, to be honest with you. Now, I get the on the surface thing because Dave does, when he debates, he does a lot of appealing to the crowd. Not appealing to authority, but appealing to the crowd. Like, hey guys, like, this doesn't make sense, right guys? Instead of like telling them, like, here's my actual take, here's the situation at hand, and here's why it's wrong. I don't know why you would just sleep to Iran. I swear to God, think of fucking Harry Potter or fucking Sir Arthur. What's it called? Arthur in the Round Table. Imagine a scroll rolling out of all the fucking dirty fucking deeds of the Trump administration. They're all there. They're there. Either quote unquote new events or things that he continued from other administrations that were blatantly corrupt. Like, you have so much room to go to. Now, okay, the Iran thing is, damn, even that he argued it poorly. Like, you got to give Trump some credit for this, for bombing Iran. And what, they didn't bomb us back, so that's a good thing? What are we talking about? Look at how they are blatantly antagonizing that country for years now, dating back to who knows when. But if we're just following Trump here, if it's about Trump, since his first administration, he was antagonizing Iran blatantly. Like, it's there is no covert nature of this. This is overtly corrupt. Overtly, when dealing with the Middle East. I mean, if Dave has a layup with Syria, Crowder can't even argue that. He never mentioned that shit on his show, ever. He's got nothing in regards to Syria. Other than mainstream news clip headline type of shit. Assad bad, kill him. Assad bad, regime change. That's all Crowder has. If you bring up that this guy was blatantly Al-Qaeda, and Trump welcomed them with open arms when he became the president of Syria, and you lay out like how these plans played out, he can't do anything then. Like, Dave, this is like, I've seen you debate Dinesh D'Souza, or was it D'Souza? That wasn't D'Souza, my bad. Josh Hammer, or Douglas Murray, whatever. But this guy's a uber layup. Because at least Douglas Murray writes books about going to fucking Ukraine or Israel or Gaza or whatever the fuck. This guy's he's nothing burger in regards to fucking foreign policy. He is horrendous. Even Timmy covers more foreign policy than this guy does. Make him account for that, Dave. I dare you to. Hey, go ahead.
No, that was all I wanted to add. Was just it hurt to hear. That's all.
Well, we'll see where Dave goes, but like you have, once again, this is a grown man, like a grown man in his athletic prime playing dodgeball with a child.
I love you, Steve.
There should be absolute wreckage. It should be a massacre. And you can guess what? There's no reason to raise your voice, no reason to yell or scream or curse or get angry. Like it's so fundamental. It's so elementary. It should be like, damn, a dad just talked to his own child and taught him a life lesson. That's what it should actually look like. And Dave claims to be armed enough with this information and so good at debating that people run away from him that this should be no problem. But he went to possibly a wheelhouse that Crowder has somewhat looked into, which is Iran. But all right, let's find out. Here we go. They're chanting "Death to America," man. Here we go.
And I think that's fair. I think some of what you just said I agree with. I disagree with some of the premises, but it sounds like you're saying you still support the idea, or did at that point in time, the impeachment of Donald Trump. And this is where I think we diverge. And I know that you've also pointed this out. And by the way, I think rightfully so. You're a libertarian, but you are not an open borders libertarian. You've talked about the need for borders, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, because I always said, small L libertarianish, but I've always labeled myself conservative. I've never agreed with him on that. Were you ever at any point, like the Reason magazine sort of open borders approach to libertarianism?
Yeah, I mean, I think like when I first
Larkin
became a
Rose.
libertarian, I was that was probably my default position. Is like, just allow freedom of movement. The government shouldn't really be doing anything to nonviolent people. But it was actually libertarian thinkers who convinced me the other way. Most notably Murray Rothbard and Hans Hermann Hoppe. And essentially, I just got convinced by their argument that it's not, in fact, the correct
Hans
libertarian.
Hermann Hoppe.
Like, it doesn't follow from libertarian principles that government property ought to be available to the entire world. In fact, what follows from libertarian principles is really more taxation is theft, that the government robbed from the domestic population in order to fund and maintain government property, and therefore it should probably approximate what the domestic population would like to be done with.
And Dave, now you're off at the foreign policy
makes
part.
sense.
I don't know that that's mainstream libertarianism, but I think that your view is the correct one, and I agree with you. To be clear,
but I do want to. Can I just very quick just say that it is true that there are organizations like Cato and Reason and stuff like that are more open borders. Yeah. But it's also true that Ron Paul, I think, is probably the most mainstream libertarian ever, and he completely agrees with border restrictions. So it's debatable what the mainstream libertarian position is.
Okay, but I think yours is correct in that. And because a lot of people see libertarians, and of course they see the foolishness that they see on a national platform of open borders, a lot of libertarians, and go, like, you're not that. I also want to be clear, too, to be as charitable as possible. I hate the word, but just to be as sincere as possible. There are people out there, and I know that you've appeared at TPUSA, and Charlie Kirk talked about this. There are people out there who hate Jews. I do not consider, and for anyone watching in chat, I do not consider you amongst them at all, to be clear. So I don't want this to turn into Jewsburg. I don't think that's the case. I think there are...
It's a disclaimer. Just a disclaimer.
Dave's Jewish, though.
Yeah, but he's trying to separate himself from that.
Okay.
Dave says all kinds of little things. I'm just like, that's why I said earlier, I was like, woo!
I think he
just likes to add in. Yeah. I mean, I know he's, quote, Jewish, but no comment.
I think
I support them all.
The crowd. He feeds the crowd is what I think he actually does.
Yeah.
Like Israel. Feeding the crowd.
Crowd's got to eat.
Okay, so Iran to border security to you don't hate all Jews, do you? Okay, smooth start. Let's keep going. Here we go.
I do not consider, and for anyone watching in chat, I do not consider you amongst them at all, to be clear. So I don't want this to turn into Jewsburg. I don't think that's the case. I think there are those people, and because I invited
I do hate Canadians like Crowder,
Candace Owens, some other people on the show, you're the only one who had the balls to show up, which I appreciate.
I love Teddy too. Don't worry, Teddy. Don't cry.
That category, I think you have legitimate grievances with the government of
He
Israel
hates you.
does not make somebody anti-Semitic. I just say this because I want to cut off at the pass people going, he hates Jews. There are people going, he's a shill for the Jews. It's like, well, okay, none of those things are true. Going back to the impeachment, that was the original question. So you stand by it. Here's the thing.
You hit pause real
Being
quick.
real world conservative.
Thank God. Before he gets into
To
it.
the
Yeah.
left of your screen is the Jewish shill. And to the right of your screen is the Jewish shill.
I don't
Right.
support.
Christ's sakes, dude. Then I'd be like, that's actually well, at least before Charlie Kirk died and before Dave Smith had Nick Fuentes on. That'd be the Fuentes view, wouldn't it? Well, why do we have two Jews arguing about Jewish power, huh? Gay kid in Chicago. Like that's like, I think that's the exact like if this was 5 months ago, this would probably be Nick Fuentes' assessment. A Jew shell on the left and a Jew shell on the right. Gay kid in Chicago. All right, there we go.
It's really good.
So you stand by it. Here's the thing. Being real world conservative, right wing, small L libertarian, what mechanism would you have in place for that? And how is that better for America? Because obviously, even if we get to a mechanism, you'd lame duck the most effective president of our lifetime. I think it's hard to argue the most anti-war president of our lifetime. And you'd end up with 4 years of like a Biden or a Gavin Newsom or a Whitmer. That's how it plays out in the real world.
Destroy him,
You
Dave.
okay with it? I'm not. That's where I disagree.
Well, I think, first of all, J.D. Vance would become the president if Donald Trump was removed. But again,
More hawkish than Trump, though, so it doesn't fix the problem.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. And I don't know if I agree with you that, I mean, look, yeah, if you're comparing Donald Trump to Obama and George W. Bush and Joe Biden, like, yes, okay, he's preferable to them. But again, I'm just.
Dave, no, he's doing it. Oh my God. How is he preferable? How, Dave? Make that argument for me. How is he more preferable? How? In what area? And this is not me saying, like, I love Obama so much. It's not saying that. I think they're basically equal. I think one thing that one president does leads to the thing that the next president does. But how the fuck is he just preferable? How? That makes no sense. He's playing to the fucking audience again. So it's like saying, like, say the real shit, bro. Like, say the real shit. Why is he bullshitting already?
Trump closed the border.
Obama outflanked him on fucking deportations, bro.
But he didn't close the border.
Trump is still chasing Obama's record for deportations. I don't want to hear that.
He didn't close the border.
Okay, got it. Guess what? How come drugs are still free flowing throughout the U.S. while closing the border?
Are they?
Yeah,
Are
they
they?
are. Are you telling me cocaine's like gone now out of the U.S.? Cocaine, crack, heroin, are those gone?
I don't know. Are they?
We went over stats, didn't we? At another video about, and then they fudged the fucking numbers in their data. Or sorry, they fudged the charts that represented the data, and it was bullshit. I'd have to like go back and like to really showcase like what that was. I'm not going to do that right now, but I'll look for it and then like try to link it in the video. But we went over that shit. Actually, no, I can't. That video got fucking copyrighted because of Rogan. I don't even have that video uploaded.
That was that video?
Yeah, with the fucking the cartel guy, or not? He wasn't cartel, but he investigates cartel for like private security companies and all that shit, right?
Right.
And we went over the fucking data points, but that video got blocked. It was never allowed to come out.
Right.
And
And it seemed like that guy on Rogan's show seemed to be as wrong as the other fucking side, just in a different way. That's right. I remember that now.
Yeah, we went to the site. I think it was DHS, right? That was like like bragging about look at all the drug numbers are down. Meanwhile, it's like you're not actually showing that, are you? Like in these numbers. I think it was that. It might have been something else.
Yeah, I think it was DHS.
Yeah. So like,
and it just comes down to who do you believe, DHS or this guy talking right now? That was my conclusion.
Well, I think that guy was like off. I think he was like had like a maybe a self interest or a group interest in a different direction, if that makes sense. Towards like the reason for his job existing type of things and like shit like that, right? And his level of quote unquote expertise. But whatever. Either way, like forget about the deportations, right? Dave, you're in modern era because we live in a kind of dumb fuck era. In this era, you're a foreign policy king, bro. You know all of Scott Horton's work and antiwar.com's work, right? So thus you have unlimited ammo, unlimited to rain hell on this guy about here's why this guy should be impeached. He's a fucking criminal. Here's the evidence. So what do you like Obama then? No, here's the evidence about Obama too. Actually, here's evidence that links Obama to Trump, like 1-to-1 directly. And Syria covers every little detail of all of that, by the way. It really does. From Obama funding these quote-unquote rebel groups, which were actually Al-Qaeda and ISIS, in Syria, and fast forward, and there's details in between that you should actually go over, I would recommend to the audience. It all ends up landing where the groups that were funded by Obama, Trump is shaking their hand and taking sanctions off of Syria at the same time. These Al-Qaeda ISIS guys. They oust the president. This Al-Qaeda ISIS guy takes over, and Trump's like, what a big, strong man with big shoulders. What a handsome guy. And then removes sanctions. I mean, that is just so blatantly criminal, blatantly corrupt. And Dave is aware, isn't he aware of that? I think he's aware of that. He has to be. If he watches an inkling of antiwar.com, whether it's video or read their articles from different journalists or whatever, but still, you just read an inkling of those things. Make Crowder be aware of that. Like, it's an IQ test for Crowder. Hey, man, you full of shit? Let's find out. If I put this in front of you, what do you do with it? Pause. It's major pause, actually. If I say this piece of information, what do you do about that? Well, what did Obama do, though? If you hear that answer, it's like, you failed the IQ test. You're full of shit, aren't you? That requires the next question, right? Where it's like, are you full of shit? Because I just handed you a fucking tablet of information that you can't run away from. It's blatantly corrupt. There's no way around it. You even have quotes of Trump acknowledging that this guy is worth $10 million. As in, like, the bounty that the U.S. had on him for being a part of ISIS and Al-Qaeda. I mean, more so known as, like, ISIS in Syria, or Al-Qaeda in Syria, which would be ISIS. And, technical names like Al-Nusra, or whatever the fuck, right? The Al-Nusra group. Like, here it is on paper. You knew he had a bounty on him. For what? For murdering, once again, not to appeal to Americans so much, but, like, for murdering Americans. He's a part of that. That's why you have $10 million on your fucking head. All of it is right there, that little story alone. And you can expand to other places, but I'm saying, like, Syria is just so blatant. There's no way around it. There is no strive for peace in that scenario. It's a fucking layup. And Crowder can't argue that. He can't go anywhere with that. There's no way around it but to be like, okay, that's so corrupt. What do I do about that? I try to change subjects, change topics. But, like, good luck doing that in front of everyone. There's your IQ test. But I know, Jordan's talking too much. Let's hear the experts talk about this. Here we go.
Trump was removed. But again,
more hawkish than Trump, though, so it doesn't fix the problem.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. And I don't know if I agree
J.D.
with you.
Vance
That, I mean, look, yeah, if you're comparing Donald Trump.
On paper, J.D. Vance is not more hawkish than Trump. On paper. In reality, probably, yeah. They're probably the same. But on paper, they're not. As in, we have the Signal tweet, or text messages, right? Where J.D. Vance's like, I don't know about doing this in regards to bombing Yemen. They did it anyways. He celebrated too. On and so forth we go. But, god damn it. All right, here we go. Sorry.
president if
the
Donald Trump was
speed?
removed. But again,
More hawkish than Trump, though, so it doesn't fix the problem.
I don't know. I don't know about that, and I don't know if I agree
Sounds
with you.
so-
That I mean, look, yeah, if you're comparing
Is that your
Donald
point
Trump
of
to
view,
Obama
Dave?
and George W. Bush and Joe Biden, like, yes, okay, he's preferable
I
to
am.
them, but again, I'm just making the point.
I
Right,
think it's.
that's
And I
what
think
I'm
we have
saying.
to. I just think this is an important difference. That's where I think we separate. I am comparing him to all presidents before him and the alternatives. And even if J.D. Vance becomes president, yeah, I know it goes through the lineage Vance, and then I believe it's Johnson, Rubio. It would be a lame duck presidency, right? Because the public would just see this man's impeached for the third time, corruption, and it would be waiting out the clock until there's another election.
Unless you tell your
Well,
audience.
I mean, first of all, the first two times Donald Trump was impeached, he was impeached for complete nonsense. And so it would be a little bit different to have a president impeached for launching an illegal war. That is a very different thing. But I think the more important point here is that, look, obviously there's no mechanism for me to have Donald Trump impeached. I'm not a member of Congress who's introducing articles of impeachment. I'm a commentator who was on record supporting Donald Trump in 2024. And so when the war first broke out, what I was doing was saying in the loudest possible way that there's a huge group of people here who supported you, who are not only upset about this, but are repudiating everything about you, are criticizing you in the strongest possible language. Now, I am one of, in terms of like the Trump base of influential support, I'm one of the smaller members who was criticizing him. I mean, he had Steve Bannon and Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and even Charlie Kirk, who didn't exactly criticize him, but certainly was critical of the idea of getting into a regime change war with Iran. And I felt like at the time, like,
But did they call for impeachment and execution?
I call for execution.
You have. You said that Donald Trump should be buried beneath the prison for war crimes.
Oh, yeah, he is. Okay. Well, that's a separate thing. But what I said, what I called for in this case was
But did they do
impeachment.
anything comparable?
Well, hold on. Let me.
Well, hold
let me
on,
just
Dave. You
finish
tend
what
to
I'm saying.
filibuster, and I want to stick to this just because
Tend
this
to
is
filibuster.
outside of that. I don't think we have that big of a disagreement, right?
Well, I don't think I'm filibustering. I was just trying to finish my point.
Okay, so I think you've already described, to answer right, the mechanism. The mechanism in place would be Congress, correct? I'm not saying that you do it yourself, Dave. But like you said, you were using an influential platform. There were some other people, and largely the left, who were calling for impeachment. So,
Dave, just bring up, hey, his own DNI, like, look for impeachment on these. It wasn't an emolument, but it was like kind of an amendment to the impeachment, right? Of like, here's these foreign things that he's involved in that are problems, and now she's a DNI doing the exact opposite. You can bring that up, Dave. I'm telling you, like, this is not difficult. I'm telling you right now, Steven Crowder is not. He's not even pre-K level of fucking foreign policy. He knows nothing. He knows, like, jihads, blow them up. That's his sense of foreign policy, as far as I understand. If he learned a little bit more as time went by, okay, fine. But guess what, Dave? You're supposed to outflank this guy by miles, light years, galaxies, universes. It shouldn't be close. And Dave's like already conceding. Okay, I'll shut up. Here we go.
I think that
Good luck,
still you
guys.
stand by it. But the real world fallout of that is far worse for the United States and for the Keep America, Make America Great, America First movement. And that's where I think we diverge. And when I see you saying that, first off, it gives me pause. And I only see you just mentioned those people, and the left calling for his impeachment. And you say, well, yeah, he's better than these other presidents. Okay, so what would be better if you're calling for the impeachment? And it could be facetious, the execution of Donald Trump. That seems pretty extreme. And it seems like a big
Bro,
difference.
what the fuck?
Again, I mean, you can say I'm filibustering, but let me explain my position
going at
here.
you,
Is that
Dave.
the point I was making was that so many of Donald Trump's most important, and there's really
Hold on,
never
hit
been a moment
pause.
in my lifetime like that before.
You know, like the right has been calling for death penalty like charges against the right has been calling for death penalty like charges on all of the like Democrats. Like, here's the crime. Here's what they should be charged with. It's treason. What's the punishment for treason? Death. So, therefore, you're saying the same thing.
Okay, I understand that, but let's be honest. Most likely, Dave wasn't actually calling for the death of Donald Trump. Like, actually calling for that. I don't think he was actually
No, he's saying war crimes that equate to the punishment is death.
okay, sure. Sure. The idea is like holding them to their own logic, right? Of their actions they've done around the world, right? There, I just don't. I don't think he would just straight up just call for, yeah, he should be killed. He should be hung for whatever crimes against humanity or whatever. I don't think Dave would actually call for that. Oh, maybe he did, but I have not personally heard that, and I wouldn't even guess that personally. It's more of like a statement you say to be like, hey, this is how like terrible your crimes are. That in any other scenario, it'd be begging for the death penalty. If I had to assume like what his logic was, but either way, it's like if Dave gets caught up, like fuck that shit, skip past that, Dave, and go right back to like, yo, here's why he should be impeached. Here's the crimes, yada yada yada. But I've already said that. I already laid out one very good example, which is Syria. That's a blatant example. So I will shut up and not repeat myself. That people don't like when I do that. Here we go.
Again, I mean, you can say I'm filibustering, but let me explain my position here. Is that the point I was making was that so many of Donald Trump's most important, and there's really never been a moment in my lifetime like that before. There's really never been, I can't think of any time where George W. Bush did something and Sean Hannity and Bill O'Reilly were just like, that's it. We're done supporting him. And Obama never lost Rachel Maddow or something like that. And I think the fact that so many of us stood up against that was in terms of, like, to your point, in terms of the real world, what can we actually do? I think that was the most effective thing that we could do at that point, was just to make it very clear that if you do get us into another catastrophic war here, you're going to lose a huge portion of your support. This is the only incentive that politicians respond to. Okay. Now, in terms of your point about me,
can I address that?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So, and I know that you and I think we both share a fundamental hatred of mischaracterizations. Hopefully, you don't think that I've done that here. I've asked these questions fairly. I think that's a mischaracterization, and I think it was at large of Donald Trump from you. I think to say that he should be impeached based on a betrayal, when we probably don't have a president with a more clear track record on any issue than Donald Trump on Iran. If I said Israel, I meant to say Iran, where he said they can't get nukes. That famous escalator ride down, immediately said, and if I'm president, Iran won't get nukes. And before that, on X, saying Iran cannot get a nuke, 60 days talking, negotiating. They weren't playing ball. Time is up. You can disagree with it. But to suggest that that's a betrayal, I would say that it's the exact opposite. People maybe need to do the research on the candidate who they're supporting, in your case, endorsing, electing. He was very consistent about that.
Dave, destroy him. Like, he's saying the neocon talking points. Like, first of all, this is something I had a problem with Dave when he's in the room with Douglas Murray, or he's on a debate stage with Josh Hammer, where it's like, yo, you're not pointing out the little fucking vampire in the room with you. And that's what Crowder's doing. And I could see Dave getting frustrated. He's like, fuck this guy, bro. This guy's trash. Fuck this dude, but I'll be nice. You can see he's getting frustrated.
I'll be nice. It's my brand. It's my brand.
That was so auto-tuned. I think
Just saying.
We felt your T-Pain vibes.
Oh, my bad.
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Good. Please go
I mean,
ahead.
well, can you hear me, though?
Yeah, I hear you now.
If you can't hear me, then I don't want to do it.
I hear you now.
Oh, cool. Well, I just really wanted to make the brilliant point of I don't remember. God damn it. That's really annoying. Carry on. That's annoying. What did I say?
I assume it's somewhere around like
I fucked up the flow of the video.
Fuck that. I'm seeing the vibes of Dave is like, yo, like filibuster.
Oh yeah, he's right. He's like, yeah. Like, yeah, like you can tell, yeah, he is filibustering. You can tell he's like, fuck, I'm kind of stuck here. Yeah, you did it to yourself. He won't go outside of his little brand of like, well, I'm nice. I don't know. He's just playing it safe.
I absolutely agree. I think he's playing it safe. I think maybe it's strategical at best. Like, hey, if I don't look like an asshole, then
I'm sure
the crowd might hear what I'm saying. Okay, maybe that's his thought process. But I see visible frustration on his face as he's like, here. It's like, yo, are you subverting me, bro? Yo, you fucking with me? And it's like, yo, Dave, how many times has this had to happen to you when someone's like clearly bullshitting your side of the argument or taking your words and twisting them in a weird direction before you're like, yo, fuck this. I'm unleashing hell on you. Pause. Like, verbal hell of information that Crowder can't stand up to. Like, he's a bot. Like, Crowder's a fucking bot. On foreign policy especially, He's a fucking lame bot. Dave should fucking mop him up quickly. It shouldn't be fucking close, honestly. And it's like, yo, Dave, he's throwing layups to you, man. Destroy this fool. Iranian negotiations with the U.S. Well, Iran wouldn't budge, so that's why this happened. I will not let Iran have nukes. Like, well, they weren't developing a nuke. According to your own fucking administration, they weren't doing that. Your own intelligence, your own administration were saying they're not developing nukes. And what do? You pull out of the fucking deal in your first administration, then you try to build tension against them. And if they move a little bit, you're like, see, look, we told you about Iran, we told you. See, look what they're doing. It's clear as day, it's subversion. It's trickery. It's full of shitness. And Dave, if you can't point out the vampires in the fucking room, guess what? When you turn your back, they're going to fucking slaughter people, intellectually speaking. How are you not realizing that these motherfuckers, they don't just like, differing opinions. Me and Crowder, we just think differently. Meanwhile, when Crowder can isolate his crowd, or maybe some of your audience, Dave, maybe if he isolates them, he might say something like so wild and crazy and lure them to start being in favor of, well, Obama would have been worse. It would have been worse with Obama. Think about it. Meanwhile, Trump's getting away with crime after crime after crime after crime, and he's not reporting on it. He's not talking about it. You're trying your best.
Allegedly. Disagree. Sorry. Disclaimer. Okay. I don't think that Trump. Sorry, I had to.
Allegedly. Whatever.
Very good.
It's a layup, Dave. This guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. It's a fucking layup. And it's time to lock in and let him know that. I'm sorry, guys, for filibustering myself, but I have to say these things because it's so disappointing when I see. I think Dave means well, but he's maybe being a nice guy, or he doesn't want to look like an asshole versus actually being real about the shit. It's that's gonna be a fucking problem. And I said it, whatever debates ago, I said it, and Dave's fans told me to shut the fuck up about it. And now he's here. It's you tell me to shut the fuck up now. You're gonna keep telling me to shut up when you're just seeing what you're seeing here.
I hope not. I hope they don't.
They might, but I understand. I get it.
Let's hope not.
Dave's a very charismatic guy. I understand, guys. Do your thing. Okay, let's keep going. Dave, you should. Once again, going back to the topic, Iranian negotiations with the U.S. were bullshit off rip. They were narratives to put out to the public to make them think that Trump he's a deal maker. Trump's a deal maker. It was trickery the entire time. And now Crowder's using the same talking points he works for the fucking White House, Dave. It's he has a fucking office there or something, the way he's talking. Wreck his shit for that. Let's continue.
No, I disagree completely. And I think that Donald Trump also bragged about not getting us in any new wars and bragged about ending wars, and many of which he didn't end.
Over the Iran stuff.
No, I mean, look, there's a major difference between just saying Iran won't get nukes, which could mean anything, and saying I will launch a war against Iran if they enrich up to 60% and are still willing to negotiate down the enrichment. I'm sorry, those are just very different things.
Well, you called for his impeachment before he launched the strike, and we're not at war. But Dave, you've been talking. Hold on a second. You always do this, Bruce. Let me finish a sentence, but then you address a point and then scattershot about different points. You called for this before.
I'm on the exact point that you just asked me about, Stephen. You're claiming I'm filibustering. You're interrupting every time I speak.
No, I'm not, Dave. I want to address that one point, and then we'll go back.
Yeah, okay.
We're not at war. You called for his impeachment before the strike. I do think if you're talking about, what other option outside of diplomacy, because you said there are many other options, it could mean anything. Donald Trump, again, in context, if you look at the context, said it was a huge failure, Barack Obama's policy on Iran. He said that you cannot set red lines that you do not enforce, and I will enforce my red lines. Donald Trump was very clear. He set a red line, 60 days are up, so we've tried the diplomacy.
The red line was about
what
Syria.
What other mechanisms are in place to prevent it?
Yeah, okay, well, I don't think, again, if you're saying that enriching up to 60% was the big problem, then Obama's the JCPOA wasn't a failure. They weren't enriching anywhere near to that level until Donald Trump tore up the agreement, excuse me, or walked away, pulled America out of the agreement. And yes, he arbitrarily set a timeline of 60 days, but there were meetings scheduled for the next day or 2 days later after when Israel first struck them and Donald Trump walked away. So the alternative was obviously to keep negotiating. Look, Iran was there to negotiate down the 60% enrichment. They had been down to 3 to 5% when America was good standing members of the JCPOA. The obvious alternative would have been to keep negotiating.
So you believe that it's a more effective form of world leadership in an impeachable offense to set a date, a timeline, say last call.
Dave, you know what he's doing.
Count to three, and then say, I didn't mean it.
No,
Dave, you know what he's talking about. By the way, the red line that Crowder's talking about is about Syria. It's not even about Iran. It's about Syria. That was Obama's quote unquote red line. And allegedly, which is not even proven still, is that Syria crossed the red line. And Obama still didn't go to war with them, which is why people got mad at it. Yo, Obama, you're going to let them do that? Huh? Bring in the fucking tanks, bring in the fucking planes, bring in the soldiers. Let's go to fucking war with Syria. That's what they were complaining about with Barack Obama and his red line, by the way. Don't worry. Even though he, quote unquote, stayed out of war, he funded groups to go take over Syria, which Dave could, these are layups, Dave. These are fucking actual layups. You're playing against a child. Well, I mean, I was hoping that you were the adult and could handle these things, you know, the great debate person. But the Crowder's blatantly subverting things in a schemy way. So please, Dave, destroy this fool. Destroy him. He's being subversive. Here we go.
World leadership in an impeachable offense to set a date, a timeline. Say last call. I've counted to three.
Let's start
count
history.
To three and then say I didn't mean it.
No.
Let's start history in fucking June of 2025. That's when we start history, right? Or whenever the fucking 60-day thing was started. Here we go. They might have bombed them in June. Whatever. Here we go.
Last call. I've counted to three. Count to three and then say I didn't mean it.
No, I'm saying.
But that would be what he would do, effectively, right? If he
subverted his way
no,
to
I'm
bombing
saying
Iran, you idiot.
For a president to do
Okay,
that.
right. But that's not what I said. But you think what you said is silly. Okay, but what I'm saying.
No, he did say, right, we're 60 days up.
Was
Iran negotiating? Did Iran come to the negotiating table? Did Iran allow inspections?
Finish whenever you want to, and then I'll try to.
Oh, I asked you that. Were the 60 days up? Did Donald Trump count to three?
Yeah.
So he should continue negotiating after he sets a red line.
Yeah, well, he would. Well, no, Stephen. It's a little bit more. It's a little bit more than 1 cent.
Okay.
It's a little bit more than 1 centimeter deep. Okay.
Please enlighten me as shallow as I am.
Yes.
Dude, it's like
please, Dave.
I know.
Go ahead.
Dave, fuck the insult. Fuck that shit, bro. Actually bury him. You can do it. You have all the information on your side. Bury him. Here we go.
No, just a lot of people told me that, watch out, he's going to be constantly interrupting you, but I didn't realize it was actually
Why are you
gonna be
still
like
on
this.
that, Dave?
Okay,
Who
so
cares?
Donald Trump, what happened was Donald Trump had signaled at the beginning of the negotiations that he would be open to some enrichment, but that he wanted it to be brought down. And then Mark Levin and all of the hawks, they insisted that you put in the poison pill of absolutely no enrichment of uranium whatsoever. And he went along with that. And Iran was like, yeah, that's, and then he set the 60 days. Now, look,
No, Dave, I think you're actually wrong about that. Although I understand where you're going. People like Mark Levin shifted the White House. Like, nah. It'd be a lot closer home. Like, it'd be in the Rubio camp. People like within the administration that were saying, like, no enrichment at all. Like, they will not allow it. And that was already Trump's stance. That was Trump's stance from the jump. It was that was his stance. No enrichment at all. Right?
What is Mark Levin's government job that he is a cabinet member of?
He's king propagandist.
No, he's actual member on some council that is government or cabinet or something.
Like what? Public affairs?
I think he's like foreign policy. He's a foreign policy advisor, Jordan.
Yeah.
This radio guy is a foreign policy advisor? I don't believe that.
Yes.
Like an unofficial foreign policy advisor? He's not like Mark.
No, official.
Oh, official.
Official.
He
He's on Fox, and he is an official advisor.
So he has the same status as Marco Rubio on foreign policy.
Yes.
That's crazy. I don't believe that. He might be like a face being used, but his actual role is not that. I don't think. Like what he actually does.
Literally, no, he is
sure, you
literally
can give him an honorary title, but is he actually that thing? I don't
he
think
can
so.
sign someone. He can sign someone's death warrant in another country.
Well, that's absolutely insane. But regardless, this was Trump's stance. It was. It wasn't Trump being tricked or guided. He was already like, yeah, what do we got to do? Okay, we're doing that. Okay, awesome. And if Mark Levin disappeared one day, the guy that's the backup would say the same thing, and the backup of the backup would say the same thing. Like it is what it is, guys. This is the apparatus of the neocon kind of foreign policy shit. That has been there in perpetuity. It's been there. So, yeah, the stance has always been, once again, right? Dave brought up the Obama deal with Iran, right? Where it kept them to like 3 to 4%, I think, 3 to 4% of enrichment, right? And Trump's stance was no enrichment, right? I didn't hear any type of acceptance of the 3 to 5%.
Yeah, he is a member of Homeland Security Advisory, Mark Levin.
Okay, awesome. But there's been no mention, as far as I've seen, of 3 to 5% that Trump's like, yeah, we could do that. All right, let's do that. Let's do that. Like, no, it was straight up no enrichment, and we will bring the shit into you. Or someone will bring the shit into you, the enriched uranium, so you can have like a nuclear facility for energy. So, nah, son. Nah. Trump was a good guy, but then he got tricked by the bad guys, and now he brain shortage. Here we go.
Insisted that you put in the poison pill of absolutely no enrichment of uranium whatsoever. And he went along with that. And Iran was like, yeah, that's, and then he set the 60 days. Now, look, I think it was a bad move to ever put that poison pill in and to ever set those 60 days. But yes, at that point, once you've done that, diplomacy in this case was obviously preferable to force. And I think, in fact, probably we are in a more likely position now that Iran breaks out and tries to get a nuclear weapon than we were if he had continued the negotiations. But certainly you exhaust the negotiations. You try diplomacy as much as you can. War should always be an absolute last option. And he didn't exhaust that. Instead, he supported attacking them in the middle of the negotiations. That is dishonorable. It is unethical, and it's bad leadership.
Yeah, I don't think it's just.
Also, Dave, let him know that he knew about the Israeli attacks. Even before the U.S. bombed Iran, Israel attacked them first, obviously, right? And Trump was aware of that thing happening in the middle of negotiations, which they might be like actually talking about that, like really make that an emphasis, Dave. Am I a fucking coach or something? Like, come on, Dave. You know better, man. Come on. Here we go.
That is dishonorable. It is unethical, and it's bad leadership.
You know better, Dave.
I don't think it's dishonorable. I don't think it's unethical, and I don't think it's bad leadership.
Wow, good words.
It's bad leadership to allow a country to completely flagrantly disregard their own agreements, to not honor their word, to have international oversight committees that you cite
Dave,
as the gold standard, saying, yeah, they're only a few weeks away from this kind of dangerous uranium enrichment, and then to say, you know what, let's continue diplomacy. So here's my question to you. Because you said impeach, you said war crimes, and it sounds to me like there's no...
Okay, hit pause.
He said that in response, but like that's not the actual scenario, Dave, and you know that. You know that, man. Like, well, it's like, man, I don't want to interrupt you, Steven, but like, man, you're just lying to everyone. Why are you lying for? Why would you lie for this?
Steven Crowder.
Canadian, why would you lie? What's going on? Go ahead.
Steven Crowder said that Iran was dishonorable and didn't keep its word. They didn't want. Hold on. Well, they were in disagreement with the Trump administration, meaning they were keeping their word. They said we're going to enrich. That was just the argument that they said. And then negotiations, they were discussing not enriching. they did not come to an agreement. So how can you say they didn't keep their word? They were still in agreement or still in discussion. Then they're attacked in the middle of discussions by our ally
Okay,
to interrupt.
once again. Okay, fair enough.
They're our negotiations with them.
You're saying within the last couple of months, right? This is the events you're talking about, right?
I'm talking about the Iran thing when Israel attacked them first, and then
Yeah,
we jumped in.
That's the last several months. Okay. But there
Yeah,
was a IAEA thing, which is what Crowder was talking about right there, right? Where Iran actually stuck to the deal and kept their percentages in the 3 to 5% territory after Trump left it, right?
Always go to like analogy, and I'm thinking of like, let's say two kids on a fucking playground and at recess, and we're having a negotiation. Like, look, is it your group's turn to play dodgeball, or is it our turn to play baseball? And it's just two different groups of kids, and they're negotiating. Well, how about we get 15 more minutes, and then you get the other 15 minutes of recess? Say it's 30 minutes, and then some other group of kids come over and just start kicking one of them in the fucking shins. Like,
no, but that's not the scenario. It's not the scenario. It's two groups saying we will play baseball. The other group says we will play football, and that's it. You're stuck there. We will play baseball. We will play football, and then someone comes over and kicks them in the shins. Then you're.
But I will invite you. I will invite you over to talk to me about whether we will play. We'll allow you to play football, or we'll play baseball. I'll have that
no one
discussion
budges.
with you.
Yeah, but no one budges. It's like, don't worry, guys, I got this. Football's better. Let me argue that. The other team's like, don't worry, baseball's better. I'll argue that, and which means you get nowhere, right? Because they're already stuck on football and baseball, right? That's kind of what the quote unquote negotiations were. They look pretty in headlines, right? Of the Trump administration is negotiating with Iran because they're deal makers and peacemakers and all that shit, right? It looks pretty on paper, but in reality, that I as far as all the reports and shit I've seen, that doesn't line up. It doesn't make sense.
But Steven Crowder right there saying the Iranians broke their word. They didn't come to an agreement in any sense.
Well, what he's talking about is the IAEA with the 60% enrichment, right? Which is after years, right? Initially, they stuck to it to be like, hey, guys, we're still here in quote-unquote good faith. Now, I'm not out here saying, like, Iran is the most angelic government of all time. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, on paper, they stuck to that deal. Even after the U.S. left that deal, they still stuck to it, of keeping it between 3 to 5%. And then as time went by, and let's be honest, what were these governments doing? What was the U.S. government doing in regards to Iran during this entire time period? They were creating tensions, boosting tensions, where these guys were like, all right, fuck you then. I'm going to enrich. And they still don't even enrich to the level that they could have, right? They could have been at like the 90% thing already, right? After all these years, they could have had the fucking nuclear level shit already.
Yeah, they could have been just gifted nukes from China or Russia. Like, hey, can we have one?
That's a possibility, but maybe China or Russia may not want to risk that, and Iran might not want Russia or China to risk that.
All kinds of possibilities could have happened, but what did happen?
They enriched to higher percentages as time went by.
Yeah.
But we're begging to stay in a deal where they're not being sanctioned out the ass and like, hey, we can actually do like commerce here. We can do commerce? Okay. Awesome. But it's subverted. Like, Dave's not showcasing the crowd like, yo, everything you built your fucking channel on of how awesome America is, it's a fucking lie. It's a lie. Dave knows it's a fucking lie, but can't say it for some reason. Instead, he's willing to protect Crowder over people that know better. I assume people in his audience know a lot more about foreign policy than Steven Crowder does, right? And they're sitting here and watching this, and they're like, yo, Dave, you're doing all this work to protect Crowder. What about, like, we have no voice here, Dave. You're supposed to represent us in a way, which would be a stupid thing to do to another person, right? Like, hey, you represent us. But still, either way, he's been, like, named the, the unnamed champion, if you will. How about that? It's like, oh, you're the guy that debates people, debates neocons and zyocons and all that shit, and you destroy them. And on these things where there's like layups, just layups there, free baskets, are just right there. He's just not taking them. And it's like, why? For what? For Crowder? This guy's been lying his fucking ass off for years. He's been fucking brainwashing young people for years. Lying to them. Forget about brainwashing, but lying to them. Trying to lead them astray. And now he's doing like similar tactics in front of you, Dave. And Dave's like, well, fuck you then, man. Whatever. And looks away. Like, come on. Whatever. Okay, let's keep playing. I know, like, George, shut up, bro. Dave's talking. Steven's talking. Here we go.
President
Do I get
in our lifetime
like,
who you wouldn't bury beneath the prison for war crimes. Can you name one?
No, I think every president in my lifetime has been a war criminal.
You said war crimes. And it sounds to me like there's no president in our lifetime who you wouldn't bury beneath the prison for war crimes.
Actually,
can you name one?
No, I think every president in my lifetime has been a war criminal. That's right.
Okay, so every president in your lifetime has been a war criminal. Impeach Donald Trump beneath the prison.
It's part of being a world empire, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Donald Trump is a neocon. As a matter of fact, I think he's the least neocon of all the presidents that we've had. We might just have a disagreement on that, but I definitely think
he's a neocon.
I think Crowder's a neocon.
Well, you said your gripe was with neocons and your criticism of Donald Trump. I have criticisms of Donald Trump. H-1Bs, big one. I went in hard on that, for crying out loud. When you talk about the
H1 fucking Bs. Sorry to back up, but like the appropriate question after like, hey, you think they're all wait, every president in your lifetime is a fucking war criminal? That's a major statement. What did they do? Tell me about it. But of course, Crowder's like, oh, whatever, okay. Anyways, I have problems with Trump too. Like, what does war criminal mean? Doesn't it mean Nuremberg trials? Isn't that what that means? Like, you did some crimes against humanity type shit. But instead, it's just like, oh, whatever. I don't like H-1Bs, man. Here we go. Sorry.
East neocon of all the presidents that we've had. We might just have a disagreement on that, but I definitely think
he's a neocon.
Well, you said your gripe was with neocons and your criticism of Donald Trump. I have criticisms of Donald Trump. H-1Bs, big one. I went in hard on that, for crying out loud. When you talk about the Epstein debacle, unveiling that, Pam Bondi shouldn't have a job. The Chinese student foreign visas, right? I think that's a big problem. I criticize him on a regular basis, calling for impeachment and buried beneath the prison when this man has ended more wars than any other president, at least that I can recall. Pretty close. He's ended many wars. The only one that he hasn't ended is Ukraine.
Which ones did he end?
We're talking about conflicts right now. I mean, for 12-day war is done, if you want to, because you've attributed that to Donald Trump and Israel. I mean, we now have a ceasefire. Okay. Before that, we had the Abraham Accords. I mean, if you look at the invasions that have taken place.
None of those ended a war. The Abraham Accords didn't end any wars.
So if we're looking at the other examples in the past where you look at invasions from Russia when they got froggy, obviously they tend to favor Democrat administrations. I think he's been very non-interventionist, not an isolationist. And I think that Thailand, Cambodia is one that comes to mind. India, Pakistan. None of those count. Israel, Gaza, India, Pakistan.
No, it's not that none of them count, Stephen. It's just
Azerbaijan, Armenia. I know that because I have a lot of Armenian friends. I mean, you keep interrupting me. Do none of these count?
I don't think any of them are wars that Donald Trump was conducting that he ended. I mean, Donald Trump, look, in his first 4 years, he inherited the war in Iraq and the war in Afghanistan. We had troops in Syria. We had troops in Somalia. He talked about pulling them out. And in fact, I think he was the major reporting about him being lied to about the number of troops in Syria, but he never did get them out. He kept the war going in Afghanistan for 4 years, surged it, even though he knew it was an unwinnable war. I will give him credit. He eventually wrote the plans that did get out, but it was for his second term. And then, of course, he left it to Joe Biden to completely fumble the entire thing. There. He kept the war in the Saudi invasion of Yemen going his entire first 4 years. He just broke records for the most strikes in Somalia in any year. We've been bombing them since 2002, I think. I mean, so I don't know. And he's backed Israel his entire time.
That's a signal for like, hey,
in their
look that up
destruction
for
of Gaza, and he's failed to stop the war in Ukraine. So, like, again, his rhetoric is certainly better. And there are a few things I could look to that I would point to. Go, hey, he did a really good job.
He's signaling to his fucking producers, hey, Google that for me and give me the information I need to, like, what was that? That's what it looks like to me. Like, maybe someone can correct me on that. Why is he doing the scout finger thing? What is that?
I think he's doing, I'm raising my hand.
I don't think he's saying, okay, stop here so I can talk. I think he's saying, hey, look that up. Hey, can you look that up too? Because he doesn't know. That's my guess. That might be a leap, but yeah, go ahead.
He keeps saying Dave Smith filibusters. So this is him, like, fed up.
Oh, okay.
I want to interrupt you. So I think this is, I'm raising my hand.
Oh, okay. Maybe he's like,
might be right there.
Maybe he's like, remember this point, and remember this point, and then feed it back to me in my headphones, so I can like remember the points that Dave said. Instead of like writing notes, he's just like, oh, remember this point, this question, or this statement. Remember this statement, possibly. I can leave room for that.
Well, I mean,
either way, he doesn't have an answer for it. If Dave actually like looked into knew the details of it, like you can't do anything with those things. With Ukraine or anything, like he has no room for those. But either way, okay, here we go. He's about to bring up the Ukraine thing, I believe.
In their destruction of Gaza, and he's failed to stop the war in Ukraine. So, like, again, his rhetoric is certainly better, and there are a few things I could look to that I would point to. Go, hey, he did a really good job there. But I don't know. I don't really agree with your overall characterization.
Well, it's not that you disagree with my
like
overall
what?
characterization. Your question was, name me any wars he's ended, and then you move the goalposts, right?
No. When I said wars he's ended, I didn't mean like he picked up a phone call and then a conflict like between two other parties. I'm saying wars that America's been involved in.
So diplomacy doesn't count there.
Or fighting.
So none of those would count.
No, I'm not saying it doesn't count. I'm saying it's not exactly a war he ended.
Well, I want to have this conversation in good faith. And if you say, name me any wars he's ended, and I go, okay, Thailand, Cambodia, Israel, Gaza, ceasefire, Armenia, Azerbaijan, you could argue. Hold on a second.
Dave, you know about the ceasefire thing. You know about that, right? Come on. You know that one.
So he's saying when Pakistan and India didn't fight and Armenia and Azerbaijan stopped fighting, that was Trump, because he made a phone call to these presidents and said, hey, could you stop fighting?
Well,
yeah, sure. Trump picked up a phone and he made a phone call. So he stopped the war technically in the sense of like somebody tossed the ball to Shaq while his feet were off the ground, so it's an alley-oop.
Your better example in basketball-wise was you hand the ball to Shaq directly, they do a spin move, backflip, then they dunk the basketball, and you get an assist for it. Like, damn, he helped out Shaq right there. Like, nah, Shaq just did that. Shaq. But anyways, either way, the Gaza season, that's not... So that should be a signal to Dave that Crowder is selling the narrative that Trump ended the Gaza-Israel conflict, genocide. Like
he did.
Dave knows better than that.
No, he ended it, bro. It's so over right now.
Oh, okay. At some point, Dave has to ask himself, like, man, is this guy full of shit? Because every little signal sounds like Douglas Murray, shouldn't it? It sounds like Douglas Murray, I would think, to Dave's ears. Like, come on, why do you put your head down and pout about it? Like, yo, do you work for the administration, my man? How's that not a pertinent question for the scenario, Dave? It should be. It shouldn't be off limits. That should be a direct question. Like, hey, man, are you paid by the administration or something? Like, why do you're just repeating? Look, I could just like read the White House feed on Twitter or on Truth Social, get the same answers, bro. You bring nothing up significant. Like, there's no critical thinking in your statements at all, Steven Crowder. It's like, look at their faces by themselves, bro. Dave's like, God dang it, man. "Oh, dang," right? And Crowder's like, "I have a point to make," and it's just repeated statements that are probably being fed to his headphones right now. Honestly, like that's my honest opinion. I think it's being actually fed to him through his headphones. But all right, let's keep playing. Here we go. Let's see what he does.
You could argue that
Stop, Jordan.
Yemen,
I'm
really
sorry.
a proxy war with Iran, which kind of brings us back to the initial point. It's certainly more than other presidents. So picking up the phone and engaging in diplomacy, which I thought you would be supportive of, he's done it more than other presidents. And I would say he's set apart pretty significantly, which is why
Dave's
I don't
gonna
want to
concede on
impeach him.
that.
I don't think that
Watch.
would make America stronger, more effective. I think it would make us
lying.
weaker.
This is
That's
lying.
really the crux of this. I think he's better than other presidents. I think he's the most effective president of our lifetime. And I don't think it's an impeachable offense. He asked me which wars did he end. I just gave you a list. Do those count?
Well, it's again not okay. Look, if you're talking about
They're lying tactics, Dave. Dave, you know that these are bullshit lying tactics. He's doing a Fox News host thing. It's like at some point you have to realize this is not some guy where it's like, oh my god, this guy is he just has this opinion. This is what he believes. No,
I got a bigger
this guy's
question.
a paid fucking actor. How do you not smell that right now, Dave? I'm wrecked by that one.
If you could think in our lifetime, let's just stick to our lifetime. I'm 39. You're close to I'm almost 39.
I'm 23 years
to my
old.
age.
I'm 23 years old. You know, God.
Okay. Can you name a war that we weren't part of? This, like,
In our
besides
lifetimes,
these three war. Yeah, besides these three that he's mentioned. Then the Pakistan-India thing was a scuffle, and the Armenia.
but we have teams and allies and
Azerbaijan
business
thing,
deals with these countries too, right? So we're not.
But
separate
it
from
lasted a week. So is it really even a war? But besides that, go through our lifetimes. How many wars that America wasn't like the cause of, or the influence thereof, of why these two countries are fighting?
I mean, in my lifetime, the war on terror is so dominant that it's the excuse for every fucking war. What was the Pakistan-India thing, right? It was some guys, these random dudes came from one side of the border to the other, and they shot up the place, right? Like as like a terrorist act, right?
Yeah.
And that led to more tensions and more, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I'll shoot shit at you, you shoot shit at me, type of thing, right? That is the war on terror.
Less than 200 people died in the. You're talking about the Pakistan-India thing that just recently happened? Less than 200 people died.
I don't know the number, but it wasn't even. I think it was tourists that they actually shot up and killed, right?
Okay,
I'm pretty sure.
So I'm saying besides these, let's say besides the ones that Crowder just listed for in favor of Trump ending these wars, those three, the Thailand. I don't even know about the Thailand thing. I didn't even hear about this. I didn't know it happened. The Pakistan, India, and the Armenia, Azerbaijan. One, I guess. However you say it. But think about wars that America didn't have their hands in some sense, in our lifetimes, that even occurred. Like, I don't think I can, because I was thinking about it, like Georgia, Russia. No, we were in that shit.
Mm-hmm.
The African like continental size war that was in the 90s. No, we were definitely in that. Condoleezza Rice.
Yeah.
Serbia. Oh wait, no, that was totally us. Yugoslavia, all that stuff. Yeah, that was totally us.
Sudan, Somalia versus Somaliland. We're involved in that as well. Those African conflicts. Libya, where they have their own tensions, and as far as I've seen, maybe it already happened. Once again, I'm an ignoramus. They're on the verge of civil war in Libya as well. The U.S. has a obvious hand in that one. Syria and the new Syrian government. You fight the Alawites versus Christians versus this group versus warring groups and tensions in there and all that stuff. Yeah, you could point to the U.S. in regards to that. It's like it goes on and on, basically. Like there's.
I can't think of one that's not us being involved in some sense in our lifetimes.
Well, like I said, the war on terror is just so there that's our excuse in Venezuela. They're a terrorist. Like not only they're selling drugs, but that selling drugs is terrorism and it's narco terrorism. So thus we can actually bomb around their country and potentially within their country and subvert it.
I mean,
and all that stuff. Allegedly, CIA operatives like caught at shore trying to get into the country as well. Who knows if that's true or not? But I'm just saying, like that's an idea. Like, yeah, it's all fucked, and Crowder's pretending like that doesn't happen. Meanwhile, Dave knows that shit happens. He knows that. It's like, why aren't you fucking beating the shit out of this little kid at dodgeball? He's trash. He's a slow-moving, chubby little kid that can't move anywhere, and you're a grown adult in his athletic prime, and you're letting this fool get away with shit. Well, allegedly, I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying like Dave is the master of debating people. Pause. Sounds really bad. I'm not saying he's the master at argumentation, but I'm saying like he knows relative to Crowder mountains more than that guy, mountains more, and he's getting away with it. And I'm very curious if at some point Dave says, "Fuck it, I'm gonna wreck your shit now. I'm done being nice. Let me wreck your shit. Let me embarrass you in front of your own fucking audience." But then again, maybe this video wouldn't have come out if it went a bad direction. So here we go. Let's keep playing. Yeah.
Do those count?
Well, it's again not okay. Look, if you're talking about the war between Israel, if you can call it a war, Israel's destruction of Gaza, yes, after funding and facilitating the whole thing for his entire second term of his presidency, he's gotten a very loosely holding together ceasefire as of right now. So yes, as I've said on my show and said publicly, I give him credit for that. That part was better. The funding it for his entire presidency, which you seem to agree with, that part was wrong.
I agree with the funding of it, you're saying?
No, I said which you already said.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you. Yes, sorry.
You agree with me.
No, Dave, I'm just making. Yeah, I agree with you.
So okay,
you and I share that same common ground. But
ask him, Dave, if there's a blatant slaughter of human beings in Gaza. Ask him if it's a genocide. Ask him point blankly. Please, Dave, ask him that and make him answer in front of everyone. And then if he answers like, let's be honest, he's going to answer incorrectly. Wreck his shit. Fuck.
Just think it's important.
Okay.
Dave, so, you said interrupting. I've got a timer clock going. I don't think you're going to like the way it looks.
This is so subversion, Dave. He's subverting
So
you,
I was
dude.
listing the other examples of Donald Trump being a non-interventionist in comparison to Biden, for example. Even just using your example there, talk about funding the war, Israel, Gaza. Ceasefire's pretty damn quick into Donald Trump's presidency. And I'm not saying it's perfect. I think it's better than no ceasefire. I think picking up the phone and ending conflicts is better than not, but we still find ourselves at the intersect of impeachment. And so, let's move on, you stand by it. I believe that the impeachment, which you called for before the surgical strike on Iranian enrichment facilities.
Dave, say, hey, man, I think mass murder of children is unacceptable, and I will never accept it. Say that, Dave. And then ask Crowder, has Trump ever participated in that? And make him answer it. It's so dumb guy logic. I'm wrecked by this. I'm sorry for pausing. I'm actually sorry for pausing the video so much, guys. To Discord and to anyone watching this video, I'm so sorry for pausing it. But like, it's simple questions like shut up. Simple questions like that where you can ask. It's simple, Dave. Like, hey, man, I'm against the mass murder of children. Are you Crowder? Yes, say yes, obviously, right? It's like, well, Trump played a large role in doing that. Yeah, Biden was same thing. But guess what? In the pockets of Trump's second administration, they increased the volume times 10. Openly, brazenly, blatantly, and excused by the White House. Make that make sense, Stephen Crowder. And he can't do it. And it's like, Dave, are you like, what's going on here, bro? Like, this is so easy for, like, he said these things before. Like, on his own show. And, like, it makes you look weird, Dave. I'm trying to look at you as like a guy that means well, but like that looks fucking weird, dude. It's layups. This guy's clearly trying to like fuck with you. Man, oh man. I'm like Dave Smith fans are gonna tell me to shut the fuck up about this. Like, yo, George, shut up, bro. Dave's got this, and he's gonna lay out me like you have layups, wide open layups. You're gonna tell me to shut up. Like, yo, why aren't you yelling at Dave? Like, yo, Dave, you could do way better than this, bro. What is this? That was my dumb guy question. People would think like, oh, well, Crowder will just like, he'll lean into it a certain direction. Like, no, he can't say certain things. He can't say there's a mass killing of children. He can't say that. He can't say that because of, his job. All right, here we go. I'll try to shut
let's
up.
move on. You stand
Allegedly.
I believe that the impeachment, which you called for before the surgical strike on Iranian enrichment facilities, was based on him starting another illegal baseless
I won,
war,
right, guys?
That would be the reason for it?
Fuck.
Yeah, sure. A war of choice, a war of aggression, an illegal war. The Constitution is very clear. You need Congress to declare a war. Every single war since World War II has been illegal. And there was absolutely no need to launch those strikes. They pose no threat to us.
Okay. So that's where I would disagree, but I also understand that you're consistent, and I do appreciate it. You think that every war since World War II is illegal, every military strike, and every president is a war criminal who should be executed. I don't think that's realistic. And
let him do that to you?
Found a war.
You're gonna let him do that to you?
Exclusively to the president to make that kind of a call, and they have the right to withdraw.
Found a war in our lifetimes that we weren't involved in.
Again, to be clear, I'm not arguing that that's realistic, but in the same sense that, like, you might say there should be no abortions, and I could respond to you and say, hey, that's not realistic, and that is true. It's not realistic that at any point soon in the United States of America there'll be no abortions, but that's what's right. And so I'm just staking out my claim of what I believe is right.
Right. Okay. So you mean morally? You
stop arguing against Christ. Fucking Christ. Oh, sorry.
Would like to see him impeached.
I mean, morally, I think it's immoral to launch wars of aggression and choice, is what I mean.
Okay. So, but then you said that would be unconstitutional in an illegal war. Obviously, the Supreme Court disagrees. Obviously, every other president who was far more hawkish disagrees. And obviously, even right now, when you're talking about Democrats who love... I wish you and I... Come on, you got to agree with this.
I'm sorry. Crowder went against Trump when Trump was running because Trump wasn't hawkish enough. Let's be honest. If you can read through the lines, if you have a fucking brain, right, and you actually watched Crowder back then, and when he's like, oh, yeah, go, get him, Ted Cruz. Get him, Jeb Bush. I'm sure. I think Cruz was his pick, just like Shapiro's pick was also Ted Cruz. The reason for that...
we don't talk about those times.
Okay.
Sorry, we don't talk about those days.
Yeah, it never happened.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah, no, he grew from this. Sorry, I had to...
Fair enough.
For my guy. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
But, yeah, if Trump wasn't actually hawkish, which he actually is, if he wasn't actually that, Crowder would be like, fuck Trump, we need to get rid of him. Get him out of here. Because Crowder is a Canadian that wants to be American. And when I mean American, I mean a devil worshiper. Devil worshipping American is what his category is. No, it is what it is. He's a devil worshiper, and he wants the devil worshipping portion of America to be the winners. And when you realize that, like, oh wait, Trump is with our program, so I don't need to cheer for Ted Cruz anymore. I can cheer for Trump because he's going to do exactly what the fuck we wanted to happen in the first place. When he realized that, now Trump's like, well, Trump is like very anti-war and less hawkish. Meanwhile, he knows that Trump is as hawkish as anyone else is. Crowder is somewhat aware of that. Somewhat. Dave, you better fucking know that. Otherwise, what are you doing here? Tag someone else in. But yeah.
Okay.
It's a game.
I
so stupid.
I pulled a list up. There are 2 wars in our lifetimes that America was not involved in, and I could be wrong about one of them. It's called the Troubles, but it's like the war of the IRA issue in Ireland.
Yeah, but we're allies.
But it
with
started
one of
in the 60s,
right?
Yeah, I mean, it was since the 60s, but it stayed until 1998 or something.
Yeah,
So
but we're allies of one of the teams.
Yeah.
Which
And
means
then
they
the
help
other
them.
one,
Okay.
and because I just don't know anything about this war, the Sierra Leone Civil War, was that us?
Is that like Blood Diamond shit?
I don't know. Where's
I don't
Sierra
know
Leone?
either. Africa. I don't know exactly. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But something tells me it's surrounding the whole conflict diamond thing, if you will. If I had to guess,
Yeah,
but I can't say now.
There's a list of 32 wars. And I found 2 that I'm not sure if we're involved.
Yeah, well, once again, that thing with I don't think we're involved.
U.S.
But
yes,
U.S.
U.S.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I'm just saying, like, those guys are involved in a lot of shit, a lot more shit than even that list, right? But as far as like the U.S. military, I guess, I don't know. I don't know, but for sure, these gangsters that live in this country are benefiting and team working with other gangsters in other countries around the entire world. And I thought Dave understood that and could explain it to Crowder because, once again, Dave could think that Crowder's like, he's just a nice guy that just, he believes this. This is what he believes in. But in my world, I just don't see that. I see Crowder as full of shit, devil worshipping fuckface. And Dave is getting reminded on each answer. He's getting reminded, and each time he hears those answers, his eyes sag and sag and sag, and his fucking posture droops. He's like, "Oh, okay, I can't even say this without you fucking like shitting on me or shitting on the idea I just said. Oh fuck, I can't say anything." And that's what it looked like when he was talking to Douglas Murray. Or Dave's like, "Yo, they're massacring kids over there." It's not massacring. It's just war.
Hey.
That's what war is. And Dave's like, all right, man. All right, okay.
If I pull the clock out, you're not gonna like it. If I pull the clock out, you're not gonna like what you see.
Christ. What does that even mean? What are you even saying with that?
Crowder said it to Dave Smith.
Oh, okay, with the filibustering. As soon as Dave talks for 20 seconds, like, "Hey, Dave, tick, 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 man. Look at the clock. Tick, tick. Talking too much, man." Anyways, Trump is the least hawkish president of our lifetimes, and it's like, wait a minute, you can't just leap there like that. There's arguments to be made, but Crowder's not here for that. He's here for narrative management. Let's hit play. Here we go.
War. Obviously, the Supreme Court disagrees. Obviously, every other president who was far more hawkish disagrees.
Oh, they were.
And obviously, even right now, when you're talking about Democrats who love, I wish you and I, come on, you got to agree with this. I wish you and I had a passion for anything as much as these people have a passion for trying to impeach or political theater against Donald Trump. And that didn't really even gain any steam. Because no one, aside from Dave Smith and a few other people, think this was World War III or an unconstitutional strike.
When did I say it was World War III, Stephen?
You talked about escalating this again back on social media, saying this could lead us into World War III. That's why you wanted to impeach it.
Please show my specific quote about World War III and what I said.
I will find it, and I can provide it publicly.
No, because I hear a lot of people saying this to me, but I don't remember saying it. So when did I say
You didn't
World
think
War
it was going to
III?
escalate global conflict?
It does.
Oh, I was concerned about.
Not only is that a good guess, but that actually happened. You dummy. And Dave, you have the internet. Come on. I'll try to shut up. Here we go.
No, because I hear a lot of people saying this to me, but I don't remember saying it. So when did I say
You didn't
World
think
War
it was going to
III?
escalate global conflict?
Oh, I was concerned about escalation, but that's a very different thing than saying this is going to lead to World War III.
Okay, well, I'll rephrase then, because you did say you didn't call for it. I'm like, well, bearing beneath the prison is execution, right? I don't want to do the wordplay thing. If you didn't say World War III, I apologize. It would be other people. I'll clarify that.
No. I'm not listen. I'm not saying you are lying. I'm just pointing out I don't think I said that.
Well, can we agree that was a tenor and tone for a lot of people calling for impeaching Donald Trump? Escalation, global conflict, right?
Yeah, there were a lot of people concerned about that.
Yes,
sure.
exactly.
But it did.
Is that where we are?
Yes.
Are we in World War III?
No, I didn't say World War
Did you
III.
ask
Has it escalated or has it
No,
de-escalated?
okay.
It's
I'm
escalated,
hold on a
you
second.
idiot.
I said don't impeach because I actually think that our only chance at de-escalation is a president like Trump. And I think at this point, he wasn't impeached. I think an unbelievable surgical strike, agree or disagree with it, was conducted with no collateral damage, with planes out over the ocean before they woke up in the morning, and no one even said a word. That's why they couldn't retaliate, because they have no way to. I think the 12-day war ended. I think we have a ceasefire agreement in Israel and Gaza, and I think we're better off. I think objectively there's been de-escalation as opposed to escalation, and I don't think that's by accident. And I think if we impeach him and we follow that doctrine, I think we end up in a much worse place.
I think that we would be in a much...
I think all the actions that led up to, that led to the bombing of Iran. You fucking idiot. Like, he's an idiot. Dave, he's dumb as rocks, bro. All the actions that were taken beforehand led to the bombing in the first place. Duh. The U.S. was involved with the Israeli bombing in the first place. Duh. Israel was involved, and the U.S. obviously with Soleimani's thing. Duh. Come on, the pulling out of the deal. Duh. Like, all these things lead to these things. Dave. Come on. Dude.
Fuck, Jordan.
What's stupid? It's fucking dumb. It's like, Dave, stop pouting, Dave. He's saying stupid shit. Look at him.
I realized my mic was on. This is hilarious.
Look at the snapshot here. The guy on the left looks like very confident. Like, yeah, I just said that. Yeah. The guy looks fucking defeated. Meanwhile, I know the guy on the right has more answers than the guy on the left. He's just saying bullshit. Come on, dude. How Dave fans, make this make sense. Make this work for me. Make this make sense, please. I beg you to. Make it make fucking sense. Like, Dave knows the lead up to these things. Did he forget or something? Like, what happened?
So, yes, there is less tension in the world because Israel killed as many adult males in Gaza as possible, so they had no chance of fighting back. See, less tension in the world.
Yeah.
Wrecked. I win.
See, there's no racism in the U.S. because we killed all the black people. There's no more racism needed. We killed all the minorities, so there's no more racism. Duh. The Jared Taylor plan. All right, if we get rid of all the races, how would you have racism? Huh? It wouldn't happen.
But we have to agree to not talk about all the dead black people after the racism's over. Otherwise, then it's racist.
It's just
right? Is that how we do that?
I guess so. And Crowder saying that confidently with the king of foreign policy debate, just shoulders slumped ass motherfucker, bro. Look at this fucking bullshit, dude. Here we go. I know Dave fans and Crowder fans. Shut up, man. Play the debate. I'm learning, man. It's not from you. Here we go.
Better place if Donald Trump had simply moved to cutting off all foreign aid to Israel and supporting this war and not attacked Iran in the first place. But yes, it is
just jumps back to Israel.
Okay, but that's a pretty big deal.
God,
so it is absolutely true that after we dropped those bunker busters on the Iranian nuclear sites, and then they responded with, the kind of a typical Iranian response where they just wanted to save face, but really wanted to make sure that they didn't escalate the situation at all and gave advanced warning before they sent those missiles back. Donald Trump took that off ramp immediately and did de-escalate things after that. And I think it's great that he did that. Again,
Soleimani
never needed to be started to begin with, but we'll see. We're kind of in halftime of this war now, and we'll see where this goes. Every time Netanyahu's interviewed about this, he's still talking about the capabilities that Iran is building back up. They're vowing to rebuild their nuclear program. Donald Trump is saying that'll be a big problem if it happens again. I don't know. We'll see.
Actually, Netanyahu said that, well, it's become clear that we didn't actually get their nuclear stockpiles or whatever. So, meaning like the threat is still the same as it was before, according to Netanyahu. Just saying. That's just Dave knows more. Here we go.
Donald Trump is saying that'll be a big problem if it happens again. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't think Iran saber rattling is anything new, right? I think that's happened no matter what.
Iran saber
rattling. Yeah, that's right. And we'll see. We'll see where this goes.
I do think the ceasefires are pretty new. I think they're pretty unique, and I think it's kind of a calling card of Donald Trump.
There was a ceasefire in January in Gaza. As far as Israel-Iran, there has not been a ceasefire signed. There has not been an actual agreement on anything. There's still continuing tensions. I don't understand what. Dave, you know this, right? Here we go.
Is anything new, right? I think that's happened no matter who's president. Yeah,
that's right. And we'll see. We'll see where this goes.
I do think the ceasefires are pretty new. I think they're pretty unique, and I think it's kind of a calling card of Donald Trump, which is why I wouldn't want to see him impeached or buried beneath the prison.
Dave, you know better.
I also, and here's the thing: when we're talking about Israel funding the war, we can go to that. We can go back to Iran if you would like to, but I agree with you in not funding, and this is a genuine question. If we stop funding Israel, right? Stop foreign aid. I want to use the correct term, foreign aid to Israel, as well as, for example, Syria. List the country. My answer is yes. We also bridled Israel quite a bit, which I will say I'm a fan of. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. One of the greatest moments in presidential history. I don't think there's a world in which Netanyahu apologizes to Qatar outside of President Trump walking him. And I think that we saw even since then, going in the timeline, Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance saying, if they annex the West Bank, we'll stop all funding, right? I think that we're leading the dance.
That's not true, though.
And I think that without the bridling of the United States, in other words, if it's two guys, we lock them in a racquetball court, Israel, Palestine, you work it out, I think you'd see a much worse genocide. But I'd let the chips fall where they may, either direction. We lock them in a racquetball court, Israel, Palestine, you work it out, I think you'd see a much worse genocide. But I'd let the chips fall where they may, either direction.
But whatever, either way.
I think it'd
be much worse if the U.S. wasn't involved.
Yeah, so
after, do we take back all the weapons that were sent there? Does the U.S. take them back too? Okay, no Iron Dome, no weaponry, no contracts, all U.S. shit out of Israel, period. What would happen? What would actually happen? I'm very curious about that.
They fairly bought our weapons with our money.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
did you hear what I said? Did I?
They bought our weapons with our money. Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
But they also
that's fair.
They develop weapons as well. Right? They develop weapons.
What the Uzi? That was the last fucking weapon that Israel.
There's some ARs there, and like they have factories and all. They have some shit there.
Rush. Oh, you mean they replicate? Okay.
Well, it's kind of like.
I mean, invent.
Well, I would say go way back in time and take all the fingers off the scales. No, all the way back, and say no finger on the scale at all. You guys are people that have to like work it out with each other. Yeah. Okay, if you're gonna go there, I don't think like people are stupid. They're gonna do stupid shit. They're gonna fight and war and kill each other and all that stupid fucking shit. But at the same time, like that's where you have to actually go to make that a real argument. Otherwise, if you tip the scales for decades and decades and decades and decades and say, all right, guys, you know what? Fair fight. You fight them. That's not legitimate. We know that. Right, Dave? You can logically come up with that conclusion, right, man? Hey, man? Let's find out. There we go.
But I'd let the chips fall where they may, either direction.
I think it's absolutely not the case that if America wasn't backing Israel, and when you talk about this, because you say foreign aid to all the countries, right? You got to think it's not just that we prop up Israel and give them all types of weapons and intelligence, communication, and veto every critical resolution at the UN, but it's that we also prop up Jordan and Saudi and Egypt and all of their surrounding countries to be friends with Israel. And so the idea that if we pulled all of that back, Israel would be more aggressive, I just think is absolutely wrong. I think they would have no choice. In fact, it's the moral hazard that America.
With Gaza, I think they'd slaughter them. But like with the things they have now, but with Iran, if the U.S. is like, you know what, if anything happens to you, I'm not going over there. Yeah, Iran will fuck them up, and that's not going to be good. That'll be a very bad thing.
And there's always Pakistan that promises to drop a nuke on them. Anyway.
Pakistan would be like, yo, Iran, listen, if we do this, India's going to start fucking with us, okay? So you're on your own. To some degree, right? Maybe they do like secret, little black market things back and forth to each other, sure. But if they're like, Iran, we're not going to stop you. Do whatever you want. It's not going to be good. It would not be good. And they would not be able to like antagonize or fuck with Iran like that. It'll not be good. But they could beat up on like Gaza and the West Bank for sure. But Iran's not the place to go to. Don't stay away from that place. And the only thing stopping that is the fucking U.S. Let's be honest. It's the U.S. and we all know that. Right? It's U.S. weapon systems all up in there that are stopping these. They're not even stopping all of them, by the way. Stopping some of the Iranian missiles. But
and America can't have. You know what it really is? America cannot allow another country to have a fight and gain territory unless we have our hand in that country already, so that we get a piece of it.
Yeah, they got to be our team.
Because then that would be, because that would be a potential opponent. Not even necessarily saying they want to attack America, just a potential opponent that we might have to fucking deal with, unless we already picked a side in the beginning of before the war even started and said, yeah, you can go ahead and take them over and expand your territory, but we have all kinds of deals with you. And that's why there's been 2 wars in our lifetimes that America wasn't involved in. And once,
if they weren't, allegedly.
Right, and I'm not even sure about that.
Yeah. Well, I would think like Sierra Leone would have the UK involvement, which has the US involvement. Right. Investors to mercenaries to weaponry. Yeah.
A realistic examination, no matter Republican or Democrat, would have us step aside for any war that is currently going on. We would pick a side and be like, okay, how's this gonna benefit at least our business class or government class?
Which is our business class, by the way. But yeah, go ahead.
Right. Yeah.
Interchangeable, kind of.
Yeah, so we would never, like, that's part of what the UN is. The United Nations is, you have to fill out paperwork to not get attacked. And make promises that you won't have gold as your currency. And you will bend to the will of, the leading countries that are in charge of the UN.
Some could
Otherwise,
say that.
you're not a country.
Yeah, some could say that for sure. I'm leaving room for the sake of I basically agree with where you're going with that, but I leave room for other arguments to enter. But I'm sorry, it looks so rigged and full of shit, dude. Honestly, it just looks full of shit. Also, let's not forget that Crowder essentially was saying that, hey, if Trump wasn't, in charge during this genocide, it'd be a worse genocide. Which I think is part of his argument, which is just like lame brain shit that once again Dave should turn into minced fucking meat. He should. It's a lame art. Like, oh well, it could be worse. It's like, excuse me. Hey, like Dave should do that. Like, hey, Stephen, let's go over like what has happened over there. Now, what does worse look like to you? Explain that to me, Stephen Crowder. Go ahead, explain worse to me. Which would require him to like actually detail all the problems that have happened over there. And if he doesn't have an answer for that, like, hey man, are you full of shit? As any regular person can fucking do. Not Dave the celebrity, but us regular people, we can actually ask those questions. But yeah, I asked you this question, you keep skirting and dancing around like a weirdo. Are you full of shit, bro? Like, you full of shit? What's up? You lying to me, bro? You can ask him those things. You can. It is what it is. All right, let's keep playing. Here we go.
America always creates when we go in back. Like, okay, Ukraine's
liars,
willing
bro.
to fight and not take the deal because they got a blank check from America. And same with Israel. They get way bigger than their bridges because the U.S. is backing them up. And I think we should just get out of that business altogether. And honestly, if we agree on that, there's really not much else to argue about because that's the whole game. The whole game is that America is involved already. We are propping them up. And if we weren't doing that, I don't think we ever would have even attacked Iran. I don't even think we would be talking about Iran right now.
Yeah, see, that's where I disagree. And that's where I disagree. And by the way, the same people you talk about Saudi Arabia, and by the way, my answer is yes, right? Just to be clear.
The only thing Crowder might be right about.
I'll get accused of being anti-Semitic for that position. I said it to Ben Shapiro on the show in 2015. I said, let's just stop funding all of it. Because if you add it up collectively, not just the nations who align with Israel, but the nations who would probably like to wipe Israel out, they technically come out ahead because we spread money around, and I think it's foolish. We would agree on that. But Saudi Arabia is an interesting example. Because when we're talking about Iran, I don't care if Israel sees Iran as a threat.
Oh, good.
We say, I want to keep funding Israel, but I don't want to keep funding Egypt and Jordan because he's finally still funding Saudi Arabia because they're making more money put together than Israel, even though that's wrong. That's what he's like, I just don't like that the bad guys are getting some of our money.
Yeah, if he could guarantee that only Israel gets money, Crowder would be like, yeah, I like that. Go Team Israel. As we all know. We all seen the clip, right? You know what?
Wow.
For Crowder fans, let's play that clip. Let's play that clip real fast. Make sure
we didn't have to buy these motherfuckers off. That'd be even better.
I type in Go Team Israel, and Crowder pops up. That's crazy, right?
Hey everyone, this is Stephen Crowder. Happy New Year. God bless. Here's to praying that Obama in People's or Star Magazine's top 10 list of hottie celebrity physiques. Barack Obama has the worst kind of body possible.
That's
skinny fat. He is a man who manages to keep a very small, unattractively frail stature while maintaining virtually zero muscle mass whatsoever.
This is the gayest shit of all time, by the way. This is extremely gay. I mean, look at his physique. I'm just studying it, just up and down. It's like, whoa, look at it. It's not impressive. In fact, let me double check. They stare harder. As he has like a baby fat double chin. All right, here we go.
He is a man who manages to keep a very small, unattractively frail stature while maintaining
what is an attractive
zero
male
muscle
physique
mass
for you?
whatsoever.
Wait, Crowder, what is a attractive male physique for you? Tell everyone.
Donald J. Trump.
Penguin. This shit is so damning. All right, here we go.
I guess those cigarettes are catching up with him. Here's to hoping you don't fall off the wagon again, big guy. In case some of you out there don't know where I stand, go Team Israel! You know, to Israel, listen, despite current trends or political winds, just know that you guys have some serious allies here in the States, and we love you, we support you, and Godspeed.
And at last, my love again. There we go.
Stop funding all of it. Because if you add it up collectively, not just the nations who align with Israel,
they're
the
the same
who
human.
probably like to wipe Israel out, they technically come out ahead because we spread money around, and I think it's foolish. We would agree on that. But Saudi Arabia is an interesting example because when we're talking about Iran, I don't care if Israel sees Iran as a threat. I care if Iran is a potential threat to the United States. Obviously, the fact that they're run by a death cult who chant death to America isn't enough to go on. I'm not saying that. But I do think it's notable that every single one of their neighbors, including places that we would consider, certainly in the West, radically Islamic, are very concerned and keep saying, hey, Iran can't have a nuke. So it's not just us. Saudi Arabia has said that if Iran nuclearizes, they absolutely would have to. It would be an arms race. Why do you think that every other surrounding nation who would be more sympathetic through religion, through culture to this nation have begged those capable to prevent Iran from getting nuclear weapons and overseeing governing committees? I know we don't want to use the word intelligence because people do wordplay with that. The IAEA saying, yeah, they're close. Why does everyone think that a nuclearized Iran in that world, and pretty much every president or war criminal also acknowledge that it's a problem, and Dave Smith has caught something that all these people miss to the degree that it's an impeachable and executable offense? That's my differing opinion.
Yeah.
Appeal to authority right there, but let's keep playing.
Yeah, I mean, again, to say, Dave Smith's...
Oh, go ahead.
I like to point out that he said Iran's neighbor was Saudi Arabia, while in reference to the Iran's neighbors are concerned of Iran getting a nuke, when its real neighbors are Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria. The countries we fucking destroyed before.
Dubsearch.
All right,
stop trying to help Dave out. I mean, Dave needs help right now, apparently, but stop trying to help him out, bro. Let Dave handle him. He's the best at debating these topics. I mean, once again, Stephen Crowder is like, he's pre-K, basically. He is horrendous at foreign policy. Like, these are like talking points that, like, once again, Ted Cruz would say on the stage. And Dave is just like, Dave, like, what are you doing, bro? You can destroy these in a second, man. Is it being nice?
No, there's a clock.
Just being nice? Oh, there's a clock. Got it.
Yeah, man.
Well, at some point, like, you know, I don't know, like, do some push-ups or something. Like, do something. Do some push-ups. Like, yo, I'm a man, bro. You can't just talk to me like that, bro. I'm a person. You're a person. I'm a person. I'm gonna, like, say my honest thing. And don't worry, I'll stay here all fucking night. On air, off air, I'll talk to you all day and night. Because the point is to find out, like where are you at, Crowder? And also, do you understand what I'm saying? The most important thing ever, right? When you're talking to someone is, do they hear you and do you hear them? Unless you ask questions to find out, like, hey, what do you mean by that? Right? And do you understand what I just said? Right? It's divinity, if you will. Conversations.
Yep. You don't have to do push-ups to have balls. You can just have balls.
It's a metaphor, but also, yeah, do some fucking push-ups, guys. All right, Dave, especially you. You're letting TRT Crowder in here wreck your shit. He's not wrecking Dave, but he's definitely out strategizing him. If Dave's doing strategy, it's poor. But here we go. Let's keep playing.
And executable offense. That's my differing opinion.
Yeah, I mean, again, to say, Dave Smith's caught something that all these people miss. Like, what are you talking about? The government and the Sunni Gulf states? Yeah, okay. I've caught something that all of that. This is like saying, you think you caught something that the CDC missed in the height of COVID or something like that?
No, it's not.
Yes.
I think you did catch things the CDC missed. I think you were right in COVID.
Okay, I think I'm right on this too. I think that obviously the radical Sunni states hate the radical Shiite state because they are regional rivals. Right? And by the way, it was a bunch of Egyptians and Saudis and Al Qaeda who was backed by Saudi Arabia who came and knocked our towers down. It wasn't any radical Shiites. That's our beef. That's the reason we supposedly launched this whole war on terrorism, was to get the radical Sunnis. Now, of course, our priority has to be getting the radical Shiites. And your buddy Ben Shapiro actually kind of admitted why on his show when
why do you mischaracterize Dave? Why do you do that? He's not my buddy. I said I talked to him about that, and I presented.
I guess that's true. You guys, well, I didn't mean to mischaracterize. You were talking about having talked to him. Yeah, I forgot you guys you're falling out. But regardless, he was celebrating when Al Qaeda took over.
Dave, that's when you say, you know what I fucking mean, bro. Shut the fuck up. I'm talking. Anyways, and you go about your business. Anyway, sorry. Here we go.
You're falling out. But regardless, he was celebrating when Al-Qaeda took over Syria because, hey, we broke up the Shiite crescent and now Iran can't move weapons into Lebanon. And isn't that great for Israel? Well, I have a different perspective of that as an American. And so, look, I'll say it like this, okay? Nobody wants Iran to have a nuclear weapon. In the wake of 9/11, the George W. Bush administration, led by the neocons, in all of their wisdom, decided to put Iraq,
Iran wants nuclear weapons. That's somebody, right?
Evil. 3 countries who weren't friends, and the only thing they had in common was that they had nothing to do with 9/11. Now, in this paradigm,
why do Dave Smith
North Korea decided to go nuclear?
I'm dumb.
They developed nuclear weapons, and we've really never bothered them since. Gaddafi tried to denuclearize and de-weaponize and got rid of his chemical weapons program. We went and overthrew him and let him get sodomized to death. Iran tried to play in the middle, and they went, hey, we're letting you know that we've mastered the fuel cycle. We're enriching uranium, but we're only going to do it up to the level that we're legally allowed to. It was a standoff. It was, hey, don't attack us and we won't make nukes. But if you attack us, we could make nukes.
Right.
That was always the whole game.
And I understand that you're saying it's posturing.
Yeah, always.
Okay.
Of course.
How many nations have gotten to the point of 60% enriched uranium and not built a nuclear bomb?
Okay, maybe that's...
How many have done that?
I don't think any, but there's a lot of nuclear threshold states. Okay, well, Stephen, let me ask you a question.
At least one. At least one.
How many stayed at 3 to 5%, and like just stayed there because there was a deal in place? Like, embarrass him, Dave. Like, Dave, he's like, you're almost like, imagine someone like representing your arguments. Not saying that Dave represents mine or any of your guys' arguments. I'm just saying, like, imagine someone that like, kind of like in a way like looks like he's doing that, like representing these ideas. And then he gets the platform, and this is what he does with it.
It's trash. Yeah, he doesn't speak.
It kind of makes us look bad in a way, right? Like, no, not like
you know,
like
speak for yourself, and you can't trust other people to even convey your message because
agree.
you'd think you would. Nope.
But
nobody can convey like yourself.
Exactly. But watch Crowder take this event we're seeing right now and be like, see, look, it's like, listen, I've heard the Dave Smith arguments, all right? They weren't too much. They were whatever. I dealt with them. I moved on. They're not that big of a deal of an argument. So thus we need to actually vote Republican in the, in the midterms. Because Dave Smith and Dave Smith types are not actually equipped with really good arguments. Meanwhile, Dave actually is. I've heard him argue these points before. It's like Kyle Kulinski talking about Barack Obama. It's like, bro, you have these arguments with you. Why aren't you using them? Same with Dave. And it's like you're trying to win or look okay in front of Crowder instead of like the point. What's the point, Dave?
To give Crowder's audience approval, in my opinion, or some kind of engagement with them, but that's a side point.
Possibly that, but I'm being a lot nicer.
I don't know.
I'm hoping for he means well. He wants to actually say the truth.
I would hope so.
But he's like trying to not look like an asshole. I'll give him room for that, maybe. But it's like, this is not the right way to go about it, Dave. You could be nice and say points that Crowder can't do nothing with.
He should be a layup.
Denim button-up shirt.
I mean, Crowder should be a fucking layup. Like,
I agree.
And I was defending her. So it's like, yikes. Dave Smith.
Yeah, he has time left. Maybe Dave can wreck his shit. But it's like, come on, Dave. Come on, man. All right, here we go.
Look, we gotta vote for Lindsey Graham to make sure that we don't lose a seat to the Democrats.
But Lindsey Graham will obviously lead to more horrible actions in the world, right? So it's like,
what do you say, we, bro?
Let's lose, but let's win when we lose. Let's win when we lose.
Right. We can't have a Democrat lose a nuke. Like,
it's too many losses. You need a win-lose. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
We still haven't found that fucking
nuclear threshold states. Okay, well, Stephen, let me ask you a question.
But hold on, doesn't that matter though? And then the same gold standard. Hold on. The same gold standard that you cite, the IAEA, who, by the way, were correct in saying that Iraq did not have nuclear weapons, say, yeah, they're about 3 weeks away, which may sound extreme, but call it 3 months away. So 0 nations have done that. That doesn't sound like posturing to me.
Okay, well, okay, so let me ask you a question, Stephen. Why didn't they just make a nuke? Why didn't they go to 90%? They could have. Everyone knows they could have. Why didn't they?
Does everyone know they could have?
Yes.
But does everyone know that they were on the path to doing so, and so it's better to cut it off at the pass now than once they have the deliverables?
Hold on, but you're not answering my question.
Yeah.
Why are they hanging out at 60%? Why aren't they just making a nuke? They've mastered the fuel cycle. They have the enrichment. They could do it.
Yeah.
Why are they not?
Well, they're not just hanging out at 60%, and they're also looking into delivery mechanisms, which I know you've also talked about and said they don't have the capability to do, right? And ICBMs, what would be necessary? So this brings us to the fundamental question. When would it be acceptable to intervene?
So they're not a threat?
Agree with me that a nuclear Iran
so
is
they're not a threat?
Same
Holy shit. So they're not a threat, if that's what you believe, Crowder. They're looking into it, like in a magazine. They're shopping for the parts for the rocket part of the nuke.
I remember the buildup of the, Israeli strikes and Iran response, all that shit, right? And Israel and the U.S. would be like, yo, Iran ain't got shit, bro. They're trash. They got nothing. And then on the other side, you see Iran like doing like music videos, like look what the fuck we got, bro. Hidden in our mountains, we got fucking these super missiles all over the fucking place. I remember that shit, bro.
No,
it's a lot of posturing.
You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. If they're stuck at 60, then they're stuck at 60 for a reason. Well, they're not stuck at 60. They don't have the capabilities. Wait, they don't have the capabilities.
Well, there's that, and then there's
why are you attacking them? Why are you attacking them if they can't fucking do anything with this? Well, they're trying to. Okay, so I try to fucking make a slingshot. Are you gonna hit me with a?
Yes.
With a 22? Are you gonna shoot me with a 22 because I'm almost built a slingshot? What?
Metaphorically speaking, yes, they would. But the point isn't about your slingshot. They don't care about your slingshot. They care that you're using your slingshot to guard your gold that you have behind you. All right? Like, that's why. It's not about your fucking slingshot. It's about the shit hiding behind you, which is hegemony and terraforming the Middle East and building McDonald's everywhere. All right? So that's the point. The actual point. Terraform the fucking planet in your own devil worshipping image. And once again, it's not in favor of Iran. That's just like what I'm seeing. These fake Christians using Christian iconography to like build their own shit up and say we're the good guys, they're the bad guys. So thus we need to do this to take them out because they might have a slingshot one day, if you will. That's kind of like what we're saying. And Crowder has been a part of that since I've seen this guy talk out loud. He's been there the entirety of that time. All of it is building towards shit like this, straight up. And Dave can't see that. Maybe Dave's like ignorant of Crowder's past work. He's ignorant of that. Or, once again, you don't need his past work. I can hear Crowder talk in real time like, yo, is this guy full of shit? Dave apparently doesn't have those antennas, if you will. Can't register that like shit like that. And but it looks like he does. But it's like maybe he's afraid to do it or something. But like it feels like he's like, damn, what the fuck are you saying to me, bro? Like a real person to real person shit, bro. It's like Dave can't move on it. I say fair enough. If you're gonna be like Socratic, right, where it's like, I will take you at face value no matter what, right, for the sake of having honor and integrity, I would praise that to the end of the fucking moon. I would, but I have not seen that from Dave. I've seen him in certain cases break out, as in you're lesser than me, I'm gonna shit on you. Versus, hey, you have a big following, so thus I will play my role. I'll play my part while engaging with you. And to me, that's a worrisome thing. But don't worry, Dave Smith fans will say, Jordan, shut the fuck up. Dave got this. Why dissing Dave for, bro? I'm just pointing things out. It's not even an insult to Dave. That Dave could do a lot better, and Dave knows that, if I had to guess. But either way, let's continue. Genius Dave Smith versus the obvious full of shit con artist Stephen Crowder. Here we go.
Reason that Israel shouldn't have secret nukes. Yeah. You set a timeline. The rest of the world saying this is dangerous. The same gold standards you cite say they're past it. Iran not allowing you into the military bases. We're at this point, you've now counted to 3. What should be done? Well, what point is it appropriate to step in and say, no, you're too close to nukes?
Yeah, I don't think really it's ever appropriate to launch a war of aggression.
I'm sorry, I want to answer that question, but okay. Well, these guys with quote unquote secret nukes, but hey, we can't have that because we're trying to tell these other guys in your same region to not have nukes. So if you have nukes, quote unquote secretly, and these guys are just not allowed to have it, like we'll bomb you if you even attempt to have it. What does that say on a dumb guy logic? As a narrative, what does that fucking say? So first I'd be like, yo, Israel, no more fucking nukes. Show your entire thing you have here, and we will slowly dismantle them. Yo, Iran, is that good faith enough? Where you're like, yo, we will never develop nukes? Is that good enough? It is? Okay, awesome. Or maybe they're full shit. But guess what? You'll never find out when you do this team playing bullshit in regards to geopolitical maneuvering. You won't actually find out. Now, for me, that sounds like a correct answer. Correct response to what Crowder just said right there. It looks stupid if you say you guys can have nukes without a proliferation treaty or anything like that. But these guys, on paper, saying, "Hey guys, we got 60% enrichment." That being like wholesale illegal, and you can't have that. It looks unfair on the surface. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what your fucking religion is. Things that like are blatantly unfair look unfair. It's pretty simple. Or it's really dumb. Okay, here we go.
What point is it appropriate to step in and say, no, you're too close to nukes?
Yeah, I don't think really it's ever appropriate to launch a war of aggression because a country developed nuclear weapons. I mean, look, the Soviet Union under Joseph Stalin developed nuclear weapons. We didn't launch a war over it. Right. We watched Mao Zedong develop nuclear weapons. We didn't launch a war over it. These are the worst men who have ever existed in the history of the world. And so
they are?
Like, no, I don't think that's something you launch a war over. I do think you do whatever it is, whatever is in your power diplomatically to try to prevent that. Because sure, the nuclear weapons in general are horrible, you know, and we don't want more people getting them. Right. But I don't believe in launching wars of aggression. And I also think it's completely incompatible with Christianity.
Right. Yeah. That also sounds like a liberal argument where people say, you know, hey, you can't be pro-life and also be pro-death penalty. I'm pro-life. I'm pro-death penalty, and I do think that a surgical strike in which no
liberal argument.
Collateral.
It's liberal.
Damage. I do think is appropriate. As to the degree, as to when the
Crowder, you said put away your Christianity hat and put on your American hat. You are on record saying that, but Dave doesn't know that. So that's to be fair.
But when it's a gun, good guys need guns because bad guys have guns.
No. Wait. You mean?
I'm quoting Stephen Crowder.
No. Crowder will use God when he needs to, and he'll use America when he needs to. It's not about being. It's not about actually like trying to do the right thing, like for his eternal soul or for him as an American. Well, he's Canadian, but you know what I mean.
It's about by my belief.
He works for a team. The team has horns and a tail, and that's what he does. And I've been saying this for years and years, by the way. And Dave still can't see that. He still can't see what's going on right in front of his. It's like right in front of his face. Can't see it. Incredible.
I still stand by my belief, and it fits with the American Second Amendment. If you can build a nuke, you can have a nuke. We built one, and we have them.
Okay, but
Why are we trying to stop Iran from building nukes? They can have them. That's our Second Amendment. That's our belief as a country.
Okay, but you also believe in, like, if someone asks you to, like, walk in and be like a mediator, right? Let's say you accepted that, right? Okay, I'll be a mediator. I'll walk in here. I'll look at the sides and their arguments and all that stuff, and I say, hey guys, everyone knows you have nukes, but you know what? We're gonna pretend like you don't. And you guys that are could be who knows close to nukes, we will banish you to the fucking other realm if you increase past 60% or something like that, right? We'll banish you.
No, I get that argument.
That's the exact scenario, right? That's on the table right there.
Yeah, but I'm saying my belief is you can build a nuke, you can have a nuke, in the sense like
self-determined.
It is. Oh no! I mean, it is literally bullying. In the scenario you're describing, that is more of the real position of Israel can secretly have nukes, and Iran, if you if you're at 60%, that's unacceptable. Of one possible nuke, while Israel already has supposedly 400 completed nukes. It could be more, it could be less.
Who knows? It's not registered, so it's like, who knows actually of like what they actually have.
It's a ghost nuke. It's a ghost nuke.
Yeah.
So like ghost gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think we increase the likelihood of the whole world blowing up if you can build a nuke, you can have a nuke. But on the idea of freedom, which was kind of what we propose to the rest of the world to have as freedom, well, that's freedom.
Actually, funny enough, on like a kind of a side note, when you said like ghost gun, I'm thinking of like, technically, like once again, on paper, right? If Israel launched a nuke and hit a country with it, no one can say like, yeah, we know Israel did this. Like with all the like, I know there's like satellites and geodata and all that shit like that, but it's like on paper, they don't have nukes.
Right.
Which is kind of a scary idea, right?
And if you soul test it, be like Some of All Fears, it came from Atlanta, Georgia. And it came from wherever they mine the uranium and plutonium and whatnot for Russia. Like, I'm pretty sure the way they have nukes is they like got given nukes by the countries with nukes.
Do you remember Mission Impossible?
That's what.
There's like some like the latest one. It's like a Skynet thing that happened, and nukes went off, and they showed like flags on each nuke, and they showed Israel's flag on a nuke. It's like, yo, that's not real. Like, they don't have nukes, bro. What the hell? On paper, they don't have nukes, but somehow Mission Impossible is like, they have nukes. Here it is. Everyone knows. We all know this. Even Tom Cruise knows Israel has fucking nukes. But all right.
Remember, the military transporting a nuke from South Carolina to Texas happened 10 years ago, and it got lost in the process. Lindsey Graham went on TV and said, we don't know where it's at, but we're looking for it.
It's in Diddy's mansion for sure, right? If shit goes to hell, if he doesn't get pardoned, he's gonna launch that bitch, bro. You watch. Good luck, Boston. Good luck. Anyways, here we go.
I'm pro-life, I'm pro-death penalty, and I do think that a surgical strike in which no collateral damage, I do think is appropriate. As to the degree as to when the intervention is appropriate, but I'm not a complete isolationist, so we do have a disagreement there, and I think that Donald Trump has been very good for America, and I want him to continue being there, and hopefully the lineage continue, whether it's Vance or whoever else. I think we're better off than having a Gavin Newsom. But you mentioned something that I do find interesting. And you mentioned something yes, and to go to your point.
And you agreed.
How has a nuclear China, nuclear Russia, benefited anything, and wouldn't we want to avoid Iran getting to that?
Sorry, I'm gonna back up for that, but it's just like, Dave, you've seen some of the most overt corruptions, probably in your lifetime. I'm sure there's corruptions that can line up with them as well, but that's also my point, that it's like equally corrupt. But Trump is like very overt about it. So how are you like, yeah, he's better than who?
Allegedly.
Oh, it's not alleged. We see it on paper. We see it clear as day. We see Congress. We see Rand Paul. Like, what the fuck are these boats in the middle of the ocean? Like, we don't have evidence. You're not even telling us about it. Like, what is this? There's no way around that. You're just blowing up boats without any fucking evidence or trial or jury or anything. No judges, no nothing. We just can because we can. And it's like, there's no way around that. Even to the most staunch Republican, this is wrong. It's like, there's no way around it. And like, Dave, you have that in your like, it's in your arsenal of arguments. You have all these people. You have Thomas Massey. You have Rand Paul. You have all this information. You have Scott Horton and Dave DeCamp, antiwar.com shit. You have that. And I haven't heard that. Like, where is it at? Why are you hiding this, bro? Let him fucking pause. Let him fucking have it. Nuke this motherfucker, bro. Like, yo, Israel ain't the only ones with a secret fucking nuclear arsenal. And let him fucking have it. Pause. Seriously. Wreck his shit. What is this for? What is the point of this, Dave? Why are you here for? Like, what is your reason here? Because dumb fuck Crowder fans, a part of dumb fuck Mug Club, don't know anything, bro. They don't know anything. And as far as I understand, Crowder looks like a fucking genius right now because he looks confident and you look down and out. What if you like shock them up, like, hey guys, this is what's happening in your world. They're doing it on your watch. They're doing it behind your backs. They're doing it in front of your faces. They're doing all this shit. What are you going to do about it? Going to buy another fucking mug? Or are you going to say, like, I can't take this anymore. It's wrong. But Dave here for it. You're pointless at this point, bro.
Oh, you're going to let that pause go? Really?
No. Yes. But no. Somewhere in the cosmos, I blocked it. Don't worry. All right, well, let's keep playing. It's frustrating, man. It's like, people tell me sometimes when I'm doing videos, like, why do you keep pausing so often? I'm like, I hear things. I hear it. It's right in front of your faces. I'm hearing that, and I respond to it. Forgive me for being so, I guess, sensitive about it, but it is what it is. I hear it, and I get mad about it, and I say something about it. I'm sorry for that, but like, it's my channel. Go fuck yourself, basically. It's my actual
Seriously.
answer.
Don't be sorry. Fuck that.
No, I am sorry. I am sorry. Because I try.
Why?
Well, I try to speak to the languages of anyone that might be listening or who I'm talking to. I try to speak with them, not to them. So I'll hear you out, you know? But at the same time, it's like, how are you not seeing what I'm seeing? Like, I get that mode where I'm like, yo, how are you not seeing this? I don't care if it's every other sentence or it's like, 10-minute blocks or 2-second blocks, whatever. If I see it, I say it. That's it. And I don't know. I feel like I guess I want people to like understand that, like, what I'm doing. It's not strictly for the sake of hearing myself talk. It's straight up like I hear that out loud. I'm like, I get pissed off and I respond to it.
Yeah, because you have a point.
Maybe my point is anger at certain things, but go ahead, guys.
Then acknowledge at this point that Steven Crowder is actually the winner of this debate, as that sounds, because he is more aligned with the reality of what is happening, what is to come.
No, he's fucking
because
not.
of.
No, he's not.
Look, Dave Smith is making like the moral position argument. Yes.
No, he's not. No, he's not. I see what you're saying, but I don't think he's actually doing that. But go ahead.
More to the moral position, like this is wrong, and all that stuff. But Steven Crowder is more along the lines of, this is what we're fucking doing, and here's where we're going. And it's more like an outline of, you want to be on the winning side, so this is it.
Nah, Dubster, I disagree, because if, let's say Harris was in office right now, and she did the exact same thing that Trump has done so far, he'd be saying, fuck those Democrats, they're corrupt, look what they're doing. It's wrong. It's wrong, Dave Smith.
I'm not
it's
saying
wrong. He'd do that,
no,
in my humble
no.
opinion. Crowder would do that.
That is not what I'm saying.
Not saying what
That
you're
is
saying.
not what
I'm just saying, like, that's what that guy would do, in my humble opinion. He'd say, look at the Democrats doing this. They're wrong. AIPAC is wrong. Why? Because they support Democrats too. That's been his logic for years now. Dave apparently can't see that, but go ahead and re-clarify for the sake of the audience. Yeah.
What I'm saying is, yes, he's favoring Trump. I'm not saying if you change the scenario to it's Harris. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying he is arguing for what Trump's doing, and Trump is doing what Trump is doing. So he's more correct into the reality of how the world's currently functioning. And the realism of...
He's adding a thing to it, right? He's adding, like, not his team's, like, shiny version of it, right? The shiny, happy version.
Which gets to make all the choices. His team gets to make all the choices right now. They're in charge of everything in the power structure. The Republicans are the president, House, and Senate.
You know what? I'll say fair enough. But if Dave brought a scenario on the table where you can't wrap it up in a nice bow, right? You can't make it look good. That's when there's your IQ test right there for someone like Crowder. You take a scenario where there is no silver lining, there's nothing good about it, and make him dance and wiggle and squirm and make it look like it's like, oh, this is the right thing to do. He can't do it. I mean, he'll try. I'm just saying, but like for a regular person, like there's no way you hear that and be like, yeah, we should, whatever, protect Epstein corroborators, right? We should do that. There's no way you could like walk away with that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. We should work with the pedophiles to stop the deep state.
Like there's no fucking way you do it. Like, and at that point, if Crowder answered that way, it's
so
direct.
stupid. Temple fucking basically said that. We gotta work with the rapist to stop the deep state.
Give credit where credit's due, bro. That's Alex Jones's theory, and Timmy took it and then twisted it in a different way, but it's the same thing basically. But like, yo, Dave, make Crowder do that. Make him answer that way too. Like, well, he's trying to fight the deep state, and the only way to do that is to let them get away with
money.
It.
Yeah, the pedophiles give us money, so we can fight the deep state.
If we expose this child rapist, it'll hurt the economy, so we can't do that. Like, what? Like, I think every regular person would be like, excuse me?
Wants.
What? Excuse me? But all right, here we go. Let's keep playing.
Mention is appropriate, but I'm not a complete
isolationist,
so we do have a disagreement there, and I think that Donald Trump has been very good for America, and I want him to continue being there, and hopefully the lineage continue, whether it's Vance or whoever else. I think we're better off than having a
Based on no merit.
But you mentioned something that I do find interesting. And you mentioned something that, yes, and to go to your point, how has a nuclear China, nuclear Russia, benefited anything? And wouldn't we want to avoid Iran getting to that point? Because you said diplomacy doesn't work. Do you agree that diplomacy doesn't work with some of these nations? And
yeah, well, again, okay, so let me just say a couple things real quick to what you just said. Number one, the liberal thing of like, oh, you're pro-life, but you're for the death penalty, that's really dumb. Because obviously the death penalty is targeting one person who's been convicted of a crime. So now if you start to get into innocent people dying in there, now they've got to...
If you're in favor of the death penalty, you're a fucking devil worshiper. Sorry to tell you, but like, get used to it now. Enjoy that now. Sip the juice, pause, Stay with your team. Like, stay with that. Good luck to you, though. Here we go.
Much stronger argument. Just saying that.
How many innocent people died in Iran?
It's devil worship.
I don't know the exact number, but several. And several Israelis and Iranians died in that war.
No, from the strike from the United States.
From the bunker buster strikes, there were no casualties on that, but it was still a war that America was
we don't know that.
People did die in the war, regardless.
But you said you can't be Christian and support that. That's what I supported. That's what I didn't want to impeach Donald Trump over. Is that fair?
No,
Crowder, you can afterwards. What's it called? Hindsight. You could do that and be like, see, no one died, so it's Christian. But in real time, in the midst of it, you can't just do that, right? Because someone could die. And also, let's be honest, some people probably actually did die. We're not stupid. Just like when Iran responded to the U.S. after the Soleimani killing, right? Like, oh, no one got hurt. It's a perfect plan. Perfect. Genius. See, nothing happened. Meanwhile, it's like, something happened, most likely, right? It's you do these PRs to kind of cool down tensions because they think of you as children, right? And they're the daddies. So when Israel bombs Doha, right, in Qatar, it's like, oh, we're targeting Hamas. We bombed in Qatar, a separate country, right? We bombed them, and as far as the names, the numbers of casualties and all that shit, you don't report it really. You kind of say it, but you don't actually say it because the point is to not escalate, right? Although some people got fucked up with that. Same thing goes with any other of these fucking negotiate. Like, are we stupid? We drop bunker busters? And it's like, yeah, everyone's cool. Everyone's chilling, bro. We're all good. Like, come on, dude. Come on. I mean, once again, maybe no one died, but like, what precedent does that set? It's still wrong. If no one dies, it's still fucking wrong. We're too dumb to get there. Instead, we're like, well, no one died, so it's okay. Yeah, okay. Drop bunker busters all day and night then. Fine. Because nothing happens, man. Just clear out the area. You're good. The world is a better place now. We drop bunker busters.
Yeah, we only had
That's some
22 of those or something. And we used 6 of them in that day.
And according to Netanyahu, didn't actually hit their nuclear capabilities. Although they were saying reported that it was effective.
We have less bunker busters than we do nukes. Why?
Why do we have either one of them? Because devil worshipping cunts run the fucking world, apparently. And we allow it. Just like dumb fuck devil worshipping Steven Crowder could be in front of Dave, and Dave will allow it. To be like, yo, get a real person here to debate me. Because the point is to like get to an actual, agreement or some sort of understanding. And when I'm talking to a subversive devil worshipping cunt like Steven fucking Crowder, I can't get anywhere with this. If I say, hey, the U.S. did like X, Y, or Z, some sort of problem that happened, right? The U.S. did this. No, they didn't. That never happened. It didn't happen. Or some sort of excuse for why it happened. Are you having like an actual, real discussion at that point? No. It's subverted already. But Dave's not even testing those waters to find out, like, hey, is Crowder going to lie to me? Is it going to be like real with me, or is it going to be like a liar? Does he have talking points to use? Here we go.
I don't know the exact number, but several several Israelis and Iranians died in that war.
No, from the strike from the United States.
From the bunker buster strikes, there were no casualties on that, but it was still a war that America was backing, and people did die in the war, regardless.
But you said you can't be Christian and support that. That's what I supported. That's what I didn't want to impeach Donald Trump over. Is that fair?
No, what I said is that you can't be. I think you can't be Christian and support a war of aggression. That's what I'm saying.
But you wouldn't characterize this as a war of aggression in Iran. So to be clear, we agreed. Not a war of aggression.
No, I didn't say that. I would characterize it as a war of aggression. Absolutely. Iran didn't.
Okay, well, I'm a Christian and I support it.
Okay, fair enough. So we have a disagreement over that. Okay. Anyway, to your point of say like diplomacy didn't work and Russia has nukes and China has nukes now, and that's not great. We don't love that they have nukes, right? But you're missing my point. My point is, yes, but launching a war of aggression over them would have been worse. So yes, that diplomacy doesn't always work, but that doesn't mean anytime it fails, you just launch a war. A war is something you should only launch when it is absolutely necessary. You have no other option. It should be a last resort. And I think it's absolutely just morally criminal that we have these young boys' lives, and over the last, say, just say the last 25 years, we've just thrown them into war of choice after war of choice. It's horrible.
And I think that if any boots were put on the ground or it was a war of aggression in Iran as opposed to a surgical strike with no collateral damage, you'd have a strong case.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I mean, if anyone ever did that to us, we'd certainly consider it a war.
Dave, he works for the State Department. Like, come on. Like, are you this dumb, Dave? You know better, Ben. Come on. Go ahead.
It seems like an act of war to me when you start bombing a sovereign country. So I think I have a pretty strong case as it is.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's the same. But then again, I don't think that there's a moral equivalency between the United States, Donald Trump's action, and Iran's. And I think that Iran enriching uranium and not honoring their own agreements makes them responsible.
What agreement were they not honoring?
Well, just take the JCPOA, and I was going to think JCPenney in my head. Take it, add time and money, right? They've never played ball. You can say that they have, but they haven't, and that's why everybody was concerned.
They gave money to Hezbollah
and aggressive to enrich uranium
Hamas.
And
no,
to
I'm just
move to that
asking
point.
I'm just asking what agreement they were not honoring.
Every deal that Iran has ever made.
No, they were members of the Non-Proliferation.
You can't say that realistic. Like, that doesn't make sense in reality, bro. It doesn't work that way. Like, what the fuck? How does he get away with that? Well,
when has Iran lied?
They lie every time they talk. Every single time. Like, yo, that's comical. It's comical. Like, come on, dude. Dave. Yo.
Make them say details. Like, okay, point one out. Show me a detail, like a detailed account of that. Keep going and keep going. Like, make them say every little single fucking one. God dang it, bro. Are we stupid?
They keep saying death to America, and they haven't done it yet.
Yeah, they broke a promise right there, I guess. Like, Dave, like, they break every single agreement they've ever been a part of, ever. Like, imagine someone saying that out loud. Like, it's idiotic. Off rip, it's idiotic. Right? I point out plenty of U.S. crimes, right? There's no way I would just say that. Every single promise that the U.S. have ever made never ever happened because they break every single deal they ever take. Like, that sounds stupid. It doesn't sound stupid, like, in words. It sounds dumb. It's not Bob with his neighbor, right? It's fucking countries with countries. They give and they take. Pause. Are we stupid? Like, come on. It sounds dumb.
So the point that Dave made was if what we did to Iran, this surgical strike thing, Iran or another country did that to us, and just that, while Cuba was hitting us with short-range missiles, let's say, that could tear up a little bit of Florida. Some other country was doing a surgical strike on one of our weapon types, and like they knew where it was, and they started dropping bombs that could destroy that weapon. Would we be declaring war on that country?
Sir, I'm going to say irrelevant. I want Crowder to name a deal that Iran has broken because they broke it. Name all of them.
I'm saying we would. Oh, I'm saying we would. We would say you're attacking our strategic importance of like a weapon system.
I understand.
That's enough to say that's a declaration of war.
Yeah, it's just like, civilians in America going against Israel. It's against our U.S. interest, right? But like, I want.
And at the same time, like Cuba is attacking one of our 50 states.
Yeah, it's same with China and Taiwan. Whatever.
For example.
Yeah.
Yeah. For example.
Yes, China, Taiwan, China, Hong Kong, right? Russia, Ukraine, right? These are like you're attacking our interest. Venezuela itself, right? They're like, oh look, we're allowing China and Russia to get like some hegemony in these countries over here in South America in our hemisphere, right? I understand that, but I want make Crowder name something. Dave, just anything. Let him name anything, please. A George W. Bush talking point. Let him at least say it. Don't just bail him out. Here we go.
I'm just asking what agreement they were not honoring.
Oh, there we go.
Every deal that Iran has ever made.
No, they were members of the Non-Proliferation Treaty and Good Standing.
Don't say no. Like, give me an actual. Okay, Crowder. Every deal they've ever made, give me one. Pause. Say it. Say one of them. You said every single deal, right? Name them.
And in fact, the JCPOA allowed for them to, if America
how smart I am.
to up enrichment. They were only bound in the deal if America was still part of it to not raise their enrichment. And so that's what they did when we got out of it. I think, honestly, the JCPOA had a lot of flaws, mostly the sunset provisions. And I think it would have been totally reasonable and good for Donald Trump to get in there and even say, we're tearing this up or making a new deal, or we're fixing these sunset provisions. But the truth is that all you guys who are find it so aggressive that Iran was enriching up to 60%. They weren't until we pulled out of the JCPOA. That's a fact.
Yeah, they've been consistently enriching. But I do think, look, I don't want to go around in circles on this. You agree with Barack?
Dave, you just said a point, right? And he's like, no. Anyways, blah, 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 blah. Like, this goes on. Like you didn't say it. And Dave, you know this. You can see his reaction. He's like, oh, okay, whatever. It's like, is that what you're doing this for? Is it for a reaction? Like, hey, fans, see, look, I won. Crowder was scared to answer this question. I destroyed him. See? Is that your fucking point? I've been seeing this for months now, Dave.
Iran stands
what are we doing?
That they do not honor any deal ever.
Which doesn't make sense. And, like, it doesn't make sense. Like, as a statement, it doesn't make sense, right? Because there's so many things that can happen, that have happened from country to country in the world itself. It's a stupid fucking statement. Like, on paper, it's stupid. And Dave's like, yeah, go ahead, say that. Cool. Anyways, keeps it moving. Like, he didn't just say that. All Iranians are liars. Like, imagine someone, like, just saying that. It's just like, what? You can't just say that. Like, excuse me? It sounds stupid. Even if plenty or some Iranians are liars, you still can't just say that, right? Who cares? Let's keep playing. Dave's genius.
They weren't until we pulled out of the JCPOA. That's a fact.
Yeah, they've been consistently enriching. But I do think, look, I don't want to go around in circles on this. You agree with Barack Obama's approach to Iran.
Okay. Awesome.
I agree with Donald Trump's. Maybe that explains why you would want to impeach Trump.
Yeah, I just find that to be like, yes. Okay.
He's being dishonest, right, Dave?
Who'd you support in 2016?
Dave's trying to, like, win an argument, but he just, okay, so you agree with Barack Obama, leftist, far left communist from Africa, Kenya, Barack Obama, and I support Trump, all-American Trump. Like, Dave's like, all right, I had enough. You're making me look bad. Instead of like, you're fucking wrong or you're lying. Let's find out what Dave does because he got personally insulted. Not for, people that get blown up around the world. He's not doing it for that, apparently. Dave got personally insulted. Let's see how he responds to that.
Enriching. But I do think, look, I don't want to go around in circles on this. You agree with Barack Obama's approach to Iran. I agree with Donald Trump's. Maybe that explains why you would want to impeach Trump.
Yeah, I just find that to be like, yes, okay, I know.
But that was his approach.
Who'd you support in 2016, Steve, in the primary? Who were you for? Rubio?
Actually, in the primary, to egg on my face, I was pro Carly Fiorina just because I loved watching her sandbag debates.
No, I just love how everyone...
And Donald Trump, hold on a second, Donald Trump was a Democrat, and then I supported him in the general election. I've supported him since. Right. But I'm saying you're right now...
Crowder's skipping steps. He definitely out loud said Ted Cruz before in his life. Yeah, Ted Cruz is my guy, just like Ben Shapiro. Ted Cruz is our guy. Then they found out that Donald Trump was an actual neocon. They're like, oh wait, we like Trump. We found out he's one of us. We like him.
Pro Carly Fiorina just because I loved watching her sandbag debates.
I just love how everyone.
And Donald Trump. Hold on a second. Donald Trump was a Democrat, and then I supported him in the general election. I've supported him since. But I'm saying you right now are supporting. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Go back to that.
Barack Obama's approach to Iran, which Donald Trump opposed in his campaign.
He's subverting you, Dave.
And you opposed Donald Trump. So I mean, it is kind of a binary choice, right? Donald Trump campaigned on that.
I mean,
yo, Dave, go back to no, we know you supported Ted Cruz. Let everyone know that. But Dave's like, you know what? I'll deal with whatever you just said to me right now because apparently I'm a fucking idiot or something. I don't know. It's like this is not even good faith, as in I'll just go with whatever you're saying for the sake of being upfront with people. Like you don't even believe this shit, dude. You're hearing what you're hearing. You're like, yo, are you subverting here? Is that what you're doing? Like Dave, if I had to guess, actually believes that Steven Crowder is full of shit. Diversion expert, not even expert, diversion artist, if you will. But don't worry, we'll find out on Twitter, I guess, that Dave is like, yo, Steven Crowder was unfair to me. Which is what usually happens with Dave Smith. Here we go.
It's really not. And yes, I think Barack Obama's foreign policy was horrible. Maybe the only thing he did good was getting the JCPOA done. So yes, in this very specific example, I do think that Obama did a better job with Iran than Donald Trump did. That is not
true. Talk about the money payment.
Countries that like Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, Somalia, Yemen. Obama was horrible. But I do think the deal was better off than not. I think that it's kind of a cheap thing on a conservative show to go, well, you're with Obama rather than Trump.
I didn't say that.
The most critical thing. I'm the most critical of Obama of probably any
you were doing that.
Commentator.
I didn't say that.
Sure. Okay.
I don't. You might be critical.
You kind of framed it that way.
Okay. Barack Obama's approach, JCPOA, working well with Donald Trump, said the Iran nuclear deal is a disaster, one of the worst ever, and I would pull out, and he did. By the way, Iran didn't enrich past 20% until Biden, right? So you have Barack Obama's approach, Donald Trump specifically criticizing it, campaigning on doing the opposite. Can
I play that again? Because that's a major pause. I don't know what he's jerking right there, but he does.
Specifically criticizing it, campaigning on doing the opposite. And I didn't say you support Obama. I said it seems like in dealing with Iran, you would agree with Obama's approach and disagree with Donald Trump's. Is that a mischaracterization?
I agree with
Steven Crowder's so dishonest, and Dave's afraid to say it. Like, yo, he's now it's like survive. Now it's like, okay, forget about the bigger world and stuff. Now he's going after you. He's trying to make you look bad, and you're just here yeah, I'll take that. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Let me engage with the ideas honestly. Yeah, you can. Guess what? This guy's also a fucking liar. He's also full of shit. Now maybe somehow Dave doesn't believe that, but I think he does, and in fact, he's probably on Twitter right now saying, I didn't lose to Steven Crowder. Crowder was lying. He was shushing me. Shush, Dave, shush. That's what Crowder was doing. But yeah, God.
That's how he opened his video on his own show.
It's whatever. Dave. Okay, here we go.
Donald Trump's. Is that a mischaracterization?
I agree with I agree with Pat Buchanan and Ron Paul and all of the tradition of the right-wingers who were smeared as unpatriotic by David Frum. I agree with Lou Rockwell and Ron Paul and Murray Rothbard and Pat Buchanan and the founders of our country.
Stephen knows his crowd
doesn't even know or care who that is. So yes, in this case, when Donald Trump said the Iran deal was the worst deal ever, I think it was really stupid. It actually wasn't. And what you should have been appalled by of Obama's foreign policy was him toppling the government in Libya, him attempting to topple the government in Syria, him backing the Saudi invasion of Yemen, him continuing to bomb Iraq and Afghanistan his entire presidency, killing innocent people for no reason at all. That's what I think is wrong with Obama's foreign policy, not the JCPOA.
But Trump was a part of those.
I think all of those things are wrong, and I also think his approach to the JCPOA. I think.
See how Dave.
Crowder's gonna bring out the money.
I'm fucking wrecked, dude.
This is what I was like. That is the thing with Hinkleberry, fuckface Hinkle. I'm like, I'm not gonna feed you answers. Like he just fed Crowder all those things that Crowder didn't even know about. Honestly, you just fed him all that information. Crowder's like, yeah, I agree. All right. It's like, but it's Obama. But if you bring in like Trump's role and no same conflicts, Dave, right next to it, Crowder can't be like, well, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. When Trump was doing it was pretty good, but how was it good, Crowder? Tell everyone, how was it good? Well, he's gonna wait for his producer, producer Jerry. Yeah, feed the information into my earphones right now. Thank you. We fought terrorism. Meanwhile, Obama was a Muslim terrorist. He was a jihadist. We all know this, right? It's going to sound stupid. But Dave is like, are you protecting him? Well, like, what's going on here, Dave? Are you getting the Epstein list or some shit like that, bro? Like, what are you protecting here? I swear to God, like, Crowder makes dumb fuck art. Like, this is so stupid. This is beyond stupid. His responses to the things that you're saying, Dave, where it's like, oh, you're full of shit, aren't you? Like, he can't do it. He can't do it for some reason. At least Douglas Murray will sound sophisticated when he says things. He'll sound some way. Crowder's just like up front. Yeah, I don't like that either. With no details, like, oh, explain it to me. What happened in Libya, Crowder? What happened in Syria, Crowder? What happened in Somalia, Crowder? He can't answer those questions. He doesn't fucking know. Instead, Dave just hands him. Okay. Here we go.
Donald Trump's approach, this is just a difference of opinion, has been more effective. I think there's a reason that they enriched past 20% only when Biden was president. I think that force does matter, and I think that at a certain point you can't simply engage in diplomacy with certain people. And
Did they enrich past... What percentage did they get to under Biden, Crowder? What were they when Obama had the JCPOA? Was it under 6%? I think it was. So were they close to 20%, and then they passed it when when Biden got into office? Like, break it down by year by year. What are their percentages from each presidency? Explain it to us. See how simple that is? It's not fucking difficult. Explain the percentages from administration to administration, Crowder, because you're using this as a point to say, like, vote Trump no matter what. Just look at their faces. Like, Dave, you can posture for your audience all you fucking want. But, like, at some point, do something, you idiot. Do something. Say, hey, man, what are those percentages from him? Like, ask that question. Like, seriously. And guess what? There's so much foreign policy shit here. They can just ask simple ass questions that Crowder can't explain. Wikipedia will not save him. You can't do it in that short amount of time, and he's not prepped for it. Let's be honest. Like, ask those questions and make him fucking answer them. What's Dave doing? What's your point here, dude? What are you actually doing here? There we go.
I agree with Donald Trump on what he campaigned on. It doesn't mean that I think you're immoral if you disagree. I just want to clarify our positions. That might be why we're worlds apart on this idea of impeaching Donald Trump. That, to me, was a shock when I would think that as more libertarian leaning, as more non-interventionist leaning, you might say isolationist, non-interventionist, varying degrees therein. For example, I would love, right, like I said, opening statement, to defund all of it. I also know that's not going to happen, right? I think we both agree there's probably not going to be a president in our lifetime who does that, right? So it's not an impeachable offense.
Ask him why not.
I mean, I don't know about that. We're going.
Ask him why not, Dave. Instead of like feeling the need to have an answer for everything, ask him a fucking question. Like, well, why not? Why can't that happen? Make him answer that. It's almost like you got figured out, and these little weirdos like pass the narrative around. Like, hey, man, just say something, and he'll just go on a tangent about it instead of asking a counter question. Be like, well, you make that make sense for me. Steven Crowder. It's almost like the note got passed around. Like, yeah, deal with Dave this way because he's maybe I don't know what the fuck the deal is. Wants to feel smart or something, or wants to feel like he's winning. I don't know his fucking reason for doing any of this, but it is what it is. All right, here we go.
Bankrupt at an alarming rate, and things are changing very rapidly in this country. I mean,
Make him say something.
I may have agreed with you 10 years ago if you go, we're never going to see a president who cuts off all foreign aid. I'm not so sure about that today. And I think that not only are we going bankrupt at an alarming rate, and I mean, you know about this stuff as well as anybody. It is really like the day of reckoning that guys like me and you were warning about 15 years ago is really here. I mean, the interest on the debt has overtaken the entire budget. It's our biggest budget issue is now just paying interest to foreign central banks, not even for a welfare program or for a war that we want to fund. And
about to do a gold commercial
that we will live through a pretty big seismic shift in this area in the next few years.
Well, I do genuinely hope that you're right. I think, this is just an opinion, I think it's very unlikely if Donald Trump were to be impeached that we'd end up with that. Right now in this scenario, I think what's more likely is a lame duck presidency and the public losing confidence in the Trump administration and voting in a leftist. And I think that would be far worse for America. And I think
that's agreed for different reasons.
I guess I look at it a little bit differently.
Okay.
Where
This is when Dave says, like, okay, explain that. Explain it. But he can't do it. Instead, he feels the need to like be the guy that has all the answers, I guess. He's like, no, I'm going to answer this. Like, no, just ask him, like, well, how so? And then walk away, step back. How so? How so, Stephen? You can't do that, apparently. Okay, here we go.
And I think
that's... I see. I guess I look at it a little bit differently.
Okay.
Whereas I think that, and this is kind of always the dynamic with two-party politics, right? But I actually think that Donald Trump launching wars of aggression, wars of choice, Donald Trump backing Israel at every stop, Donald Trump continuing to spend us into debt, burying the Epstein files. I think all of these things are what make it very likely that we might be looking at a president, AOC or something like that, which we all should really be concerned about because they tried last time they were in there and they're going to be coming back with a vengeance if they get back. And so I think essentially by Donald Trump not draining the swamp in any meaningful way, I think he is leaving J.D. Vance with nothing to run on to continue his legacy. So I think that's actually where our ire.
So Dave, you want J.D. Vance to be the next president? What is he actually saying? Like,
what's he actually saying? Right? Where is that lead? I don't think he knows. He's just going with it.
I think he's appealing to the crowd. Possibly. Hey guys,
That's what
see,
it sounds like.
I'm on the right, guys. See? Okay, Dave.
Not too far though.
All right, here we go.
Should be directed.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think that a big part of if this administration fails, an AOC would be elected or someone like that of her ilk. Whitmer is the one who frightens me the most, having come from Michigan, because people don't realize how radical she is. I think friendly fire would be a big part of it.
Oh my God.
I think friendly fire would be a big part of it. I think closed-handed issues, not being treated as closed-handed issues, and I think wanting to impeach the most.
All right, has anyone else had that theory that like, let's say guys like Steven Crowder and these whole establishment Republican types? I think Dubs would call them rhinos, right? These types,
brother from another mother.
But these types would also hold up the most establishment Democrats as well, wouldn't they? Like those would be like their teammates essentially. Be like, hey guys, if we make sure that no one else gets in here, it's just me and you, then we have a 50% chance of winning. But we can't allow any, like, once again, not saying AOC is like some sort of outside of the establishment type of thing. I'm just saying the image of her, right? On the books, the way it looks is outside of, just like Trump was when he first ran, right? On paper, looks outside the box. But he slowly took those people outside the box that were like, oh my God, Trump is going to change things. He slowly reeled them towards traditional Republican, policies, right? Slowly but surely.
Right. That facade for AOC's now gone after she's been in office for what, 6 years?
No, it's still there. No, it's still there. Maybe not for you, but
sorry. To someone paying attention.
Well, someone who's like,
because people on the left paying attention know that she's doing all these things. Like, there was a big deal when she was like just agreeing with everything Nancy Pelosi told her to. You don't remember that part? Yeah, you remember that.
I do remember things like that, and obviously with Kamala and Joe Biden, or sorry, Kamala running for office and the Joe Biden
Right.
aspect of it, and
Leftists would
vote blue no
about
matter
that.
who, right? Like, I'm aware of this,
Yeah.
but it's like it's we're not there yet. It's almost like people want to see her get a, just like with Trump. Let's see him get a chance, and then once he gets into office, he fucks you over, and then you're like, all right, he wasn't the guy. But there's plenty of people that see AOC or even Bernie Sanders as the same thing. I'm like, oh, let's give them a chance. They'll fuck them
It's
over,
just lesser
most likely.
evil. Yeah,
but it's not lesser. It's not actually lesser evil though. Like in practicality, it's not actually that. But
yes, it is.
It can have the sheen of that. It can have like the look of it, the aesthetic of it.
It is. It's less evil that someone on my side of politics is in power than your side of politics.
My side of politics?
Not you, the person that's viewing that, because they have seen that AOC has corrupted herself for the establishment Democrats in the sense that they're leftist on the progressive side of Democrats versus the establishment side of Democrats. They've seen that she has done establishment Democrat stuff while she proposes herself as a progressive Democrat.
Well, they've seen those moments. Those moments where it's like you have a chance to actually be the thing that people supported you for, and you said, "Fuck that! I'll go with the establishment for whatever reason, whether it's strategy or it's you were always one of them in the first place." You know, yada yada yada, right? But yeah, there's once again there's more people like in question than there are like, okay, I'm very sure AOC is full of shit. There's more so in the questioning category, just like Trump, right? There's like, oh, like for Trump's first run. I mean, it's like, oh, we're kind of in question about this guy. We're not sure yet, and then they find out, okay, there it is. Versus like AOC's kind of in the same camp as like, yeah, we don't know exactly what it would look like if she actually won the presidency. And in fact, people would be like, oh, well, it's better now. Like, look what happened over here. See, look, would AOC do that? They'll say no, but I'll be like, well, what if she does? That's a actual possibility because guess what? She doesn't answer questions.
Oh, she can.
Well, you have to showcase that like this is not like I promise everyone, I guarantee I am not gonna fall for shit like this. When do people make statements like that, really? In that world, they don't fucking do it. So thus, it's all a guessing game. It's trust the plan shit. I was gonna say 5D chess, but it's like it's trust the plan shit. It's like, oh, we believe you're a good person, so then when you get in office, even though you never talk about this topic, when you get in office, you'll do the right thing because, you know, we trust you as a person. We trust a good person in this position being asked these questions. Meanwhile, in reality, you don't know that they're good people yet. So why are we trusting the plan? I mean, like that's what AOC is going through. That's what Bernie went through, wasn't it? Trust the plan with Bernie Sanders. That was the same thing. Trust him. He may never answer these questions out loud in front of anyone else, like in front of the press, in front of constituents. He won't answer these questions or be detailed about these like topics. But guess what? Bernie's a good guy, so trust him. Trust the fucking plan. And AOC's the same fucking phenomenon. Although I don't think she's gonna run for office. I think she'll run for Senate, probably, right? New York Senate. She'll probably win, most likely. People are tired of Chuck Schumer, you know, and or whoever, right? And Mamdani's gonna win New York City, and then boom, a new era that'll be the same mediocrity, and people will put themselves to sleep, be like, yeah, we won. AOC's in office now. We're good. Get fucked over for years and years, then be like, wait a minute, we got screwed over, and then you know. Dave's child will tell us.
So when she's 85, she gets replaced, and then a new Chuck Schumer gets to replace her.
I mean, hey, listen, I'm not writing the script. I'm just saying it's bad writing. That's all I'm saying. It's bad writing.
Yeah.
Any way you look at it, it's bad writing. But all right, once again, most important thing I'm getting from this whole conversation between Dave and Steven Crowder, like, disappointing. Again, I'm not surprised by what Crowder's saying at all. I'm sure some people that all of a sudden started supporting Steven Crowder out of nowhere because he said, I don't like AIPAC, without knowing why he said that. I'm sure they're a little bit surprised, especially the Dave side of things. Right? The Dave fans are like, yo, Steven Crowder, you know what? I respect him. Right? Those guys will look at Crowder now and be like, yo, this guy's full of shit. But don't worry. God damn it, Dave. Whatever. Okay, I'm hitting play. Here we go.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think that a big part of if this administration fails, an AOC would be elected or someone like that of her ilk. Whitmer is the one who frightens me the most, having come from Michigan, because people don't realize how radical she is. I think friendly fire would be a big part of it.
There's a lot of Arabs in Michigan.
I think friendly fire would be a big part of it. I think closed-handed issues, not being treated as closed-handed issues, and I think wanting to impeach the most effective president of our lifetime. I think that would be a big part of it. I think Donald Trump has done a lot of good. I think he has a lot of flaws. Epstein files, huge one, by the way. Bondi's the only hearing we didn't cover because I don't like her and I knew it wouldn't end up well. But I do think that culturally we're in a better place. I do think that, for example, the proposals to sort of instill work requirements, 20 hours a week, right? We just talked about that for social safety benefits, for Social Security, verifying, checking it. I think this is big. I think the single biggest budget cut proposal, while not perfect, but the most in our lifetime of 1.5 trillion. I think it's a good thing. And I think if we only aim for the perfect and hold Donald Trump to a standard that we don't hold anybody else, but I think you do because you think they're all war criminals, I think we actually paved the way for far worse. I don't think there's an equivalency. I think he's a lot better than the alternative. And that's why I was so very much caught by surprise in seeing people say impeach him over an issue that I don't think is impeachable. And in the real world, I think it ends up really bad for the United States of America.
If we go to massacring children, like,
I think it was definitely the right thing for especially people who had been on the record supporting Donald Trump to as loudly oppose us getting into another war as possible. I think it was the right thing, and who knows if it.
I'm sorry, I'm going to let Dave go again. I'll let him talk, but I'm just saying, once again, Dave has just simple info, like, yeah, these guys massacre children around the world. And Dave can't bring that up to Crowder for some reason. Now, is that protection of Crowder? Is it protection of Trump? Is it, I don't want to make anyone look bad? What's going on? Why can't you bring that up, Dave? It's there. There's obvious evidence of that. Guess what? This little ceasefire deal does not... Sorry. There's been massacring happening the entire time. Once again, before the ceasefire, right? They were blowing people up. The entire Trump administration. They've been happening the entire time. Yo, Dave. I can't support that. That's like impeachable. Right? Like, damn, man, you're blowing up people's houses. That's impeachable. If Crowder said, no, it's not. Look what Obama did. Let's go over both of them. Let's get our baseball cards out. Let's turn the card over. Look at the back of it and look at the stats. Here's Obama, here's Trump. Go over both of them. Why can't Dave do that? What's he afraid of? Why is he so dog shit at argumentation? Why is he dog shit at this? Why? Here we go, sorry.
The real world, I think it ends up really bad for the United States of America.
Yeah, I think it was definitely the right thing for especially people who had been on the record supporting Donald Trump to as loudly oppose us getting into another war as possible. I think it was the right thing, and who knows if it had any effect on ultimately, at least making there be a political price tag to him thinking about escalating the thing. I think that, when you say cutting $1.5 trillion, it's like, yeah, in Democrat math, I guess that's what the budget was doing whenever they say, you're cutting the growth of the rate of increase of spending over the next decade. But guys like me and you never looked at budget issues like that, Stephen, and we're driving off a cliff in many, many different ways. I agree with you. And this is part of the reason why I voted for Donald Trump. I agree with you. I think the culture is in a much better place now. And weirdly, I think the first time Donald Trump won, the culture actually swung more to the left. I think it was a very interesting dynamic. I think under Joe Biden, the culture started swinging back to the right. And I think with Trump winning, it really destroyed the corporate media. in a very profound way. And so I think in a lot of ways, we're in a healthier place as a society now for those reasons. Kamala Harris could not win. That was, and not just for policy reasons, but just because Kamala Harris being the president of the United States is a humiliation that could not be survived.
Yeah.
You know, like you just can't have that woman be president. So
yeah, I agree.
I think there's an area we can all agree on.
Yes, I think we all agree that Kamala Harris would be an embarrassing drunken bitch leading this country, and it probably wouldn't. When people used to say, "Oh, our standing is hurt because of Donald Trump," I think it could be a whole lot worse with Kamala Harris.
I was arguing with my my co-host Rob Bernstein about this the other day, where I was like, "Look, AOC is a lot smarter than Kamala Harris," and he goes, "She's so dumb," and I go, "Yeah, I didn't say she wasn't."
Yeah, exactly.
She's a lot smarter than Kamala Harris. Yeah. Okay, but is she really? That's how dumb Kamala Harris is, or at least how dumb she publicly presents herself.
No,
Maybe
it's how dumb she is. It's how dumb she is.
Well, I mean, she's good at playing the power game on the other side. Like she rose up the ranks for someone with such little discernible talent, but. The thing about it is, right, is that this is what I meant when I say there's
she's a marvel when you consider how talented she is.
You think about that?
Yeah, we agree.
Think about it for a minute.
Honestly, it's very Chauncey Gardner. You're like, how do we? And that's where you go, yeah, it seems like people are propped up, and I agree with you on that.
Well, okay. So, but like I will say that, you know, and again, this is what I meant by this is the big split always in the duopoly, in the two-party system, right? Is that everybody goes like, well, you can't attack our guys because their guys are worse than our guys. And there's a plausibility to that. Like, I understand it can weaken your side when you're attacking them if you're trying to unify to beat the other side.
Sure.
But there's also a problem in not attacking your side and not criticizing it when they're going down the wrong path, because then you lose all that energy. Look, the reason why Donald Trump is president twice in one like simple sentence is like drain the swamp. It's the essence of Donald Trump's appeal was always, you know, that these are
Dave, the reason why Trump is two-time president is because of brainwashing, and you're watching someone that actually partook in that, and you don't have a fucking word for that, do you? Now you could be like, oh, you know what? I can't just accuse Crowder of that. Okay, fall back from that. Did Trump lie on the campaign trail? Were they lying? Were they bullshitting? Are there people that would lie on Trump's behalf to say, support Trump no matter what, because he's the good guy? What do we call that, Dave? I'll let Dave answer that one. What do we call that? Is it called just like really good talkers? Or is that manipulation? Is manipulation okay, Dave? On any level? On any level, is it okay? I would think he'd say no. So thus, you're just... I mean, people told me he was him, but he's not him, bro. He's not that guy, bro. And I've been saying that already, but this is further confirmation, because I said from the very beginning of this fucking video, I'm like, Crowder is not, like, this is a layup. Crowder's terrible at foreign policy. He's dog shit at it. Like, he's horrendous at it. And Dave, which people know him for foreign policy stuff, right? Especially Israel and whatever. It's Scott Horton and the clean break deal and all that, whatever the fuck he says, right? So this should be a layup, because Crowder knows nothing about any of that shit. He's a fucking idiot. And somehow, Dave, it's like an hour. We're here for an hour so far between like you two discussing things, and you're not. Why aren't you? I don't get it. Brain broken. Here we go.
Down the wrong path, because then you lose all that energy. Look, the reason why Donald Trump is president twice in one like simple sentence is like drain the swamp. It's the essence of Donald Trump's appeal was always, you know, that these are a bunch of criminals in DC, and we're going to get to the bottom of that. And I'm sorry, like, I don't see any even meaningful attempt to get to the bottom of that. The director of national intelligence 4 months ago said she has proof that Obama committed treason, and we're sending that over to the...
Oh my god, what does he bring up? Russia fucking gate? Are you kidding me?
What else did Tulsi Gabbard, what else did DNI Tulsi Gabbard say? Dave?
Like, come on, dude, he's horrendous. He's like,
okay, if someone said like, yo, Dave sus, this would be the video for that. I'll be honest with you, because that's a weird thing to fucking say.
Tulsi Gabbard could have went after Obama for Russiagate, but she didn't, did she?
Or sorry, Trump didn't, based on that information. Which, guess what? You're not going to get anything out of that, based on what we've seen, the precedent we've seen so far. You're not going to, like, incriminate, you're not going to do that. Obama's not going to jail for that, at least. But if you go after, like, war crimes, you have room. Like, forget about, like, the rule of law and all that shit, right? Like, okay, who's going to go walk away in handcuffs? Guess what? With the foreign policy stuff, they all look criminal. There is no excuse for it. Thus, go after everyone with that, and then, but if you're protecting one person versus another, if you're talking to Steven Crowder's crowd, right? If you're talking to his fans, you're like, hey man, Obama did this. To feel better about yourself or make them like you more or something like that, which is a weird, it's a weird pathology if you have that, man. That'd be very weird. If that's your reason, Dave, is to be liked. But whatever. There we go.
Justice Department.
On and on
Does
we go.
anyone here really
Word makes
think
no
that
sense,
Obama's
I
going to be
understand.
tried and convicted
Dave
for
is a
treason?
genius.
I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
Not any more than I think
Steven.
Schiff is going to be hauled out in cuffs. No,
Yeah, they're
I
not going to drain the swamp. They're not going to do any of that. And why is it not incumbent on us then to call that out? I mean, hey, we got the
I think it is,
opportunity
Dave.
right now.
If I can say, I think it is. I think it is, and I
perfect
think
for him,
I would
Dave.
argue that I've done it correctly on issues like H-1B visas, on Epstein. I mean, for crying out loud. I don't know if you know this. I tried to hang. We recreated Epstein's cell and did a live stream where I actively tried to hang myself and had several gauges, and it was not possible. We recreated it. We recreated the timeline and was dressed up like evil.
What a
Knievel.
rebel.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and I had a neck brace, so I was safe. We had nurses on staff. It's not possible. It's been a pet cause of mine because we've done so much research, and that was an absolute disaster. I would say, and this would just be a difference, I think that I've done it correctly, and hopefully I've also done this correctly in presenting differences of opinions and not mischaracterizing you, because I think there also is a rot.
You may not have whatever with Dave. Well, I think you actually did do that too. I don't think you represent the topics actually correctly, because that's not your point is to make it sound a certain way so that it's okay for devil worshippers to do devil worshipping things around the planet. That's your job, Crowder. And it's just further proof for me. Dave won't know because he's an idiot. I have to call it, sorry fans. I have to do it, bro. Dave's an idiot. There's no way around this. He's Joe Rogan that speaks up a little bit more than Joe Rogan does. But even Joe Rogan smoked this, just dissembled this fucking human being on weed, ripped them apart. Rogan did that to Crowder, as we all know about already. Like, Crowder is dog shit at argumentation, dog shit at it, and Dave just had a struggle war with him on foreign policy. Crowder's terrible at foreign policy. God. All right, here we go.
Be a difference. I think that I've done it correctly. And hopefully I've also done this correctly in presenting differences of opinions and not mischaracterizing you, because I think there also is a rot in people going off the wall, using hyperbole. I would categorize impeachment and execution in that, but I certainly would categorize under that. And that you are not guilty of this.
He's still attributing, okay, impeachment, sure, but execution, he's still adding that to your name, Dave. That you're calling for the execution of Donald Trump. He's still adding that to you, even in the last minutes of the video, where he's like narrative-wise searching for levity, right? Like, okay, we don't disagree. Like, maybe we don't agree on everything, but we don't disagree on everything either. Like, we're friends, right? He's searching for levity, and he still took a chance to take a shot at you, bro. And Dave doesn't even know it. Dave's a fucking lame brain, bro. The dits. As I've been saying. All right, here we go.
People saying, if you disagree with me, you're a shill for Israel. Or on the other side, people saying, hey, if you think we should defund Israel, as I do, that you're an anti-Semite. And that's why I think we need to have these conversations. I think I would say my opinion is there's a better way to criticize the administration while recognizing the good that they do and not really putting us in a position where we have to accept an alternative. I think impeachment comes close to that.
You have an easy answer,
because I realize we've gone over, but I want to continue. Can we just open the floor to anything that's on your mind here? If we go,
Could I just respond to that, and then we could do whatever you want to.
Pause.
Yeah, okay, let's do that. But Tim Pool's going to be pissed because we haven't rated to him. But you know what? Fuck him.
Wait, what are we doing?
No, it's typically I'm supposed to.
Wait, Tim Pool's in the background there? No comment. No comment.
End on the hour and send my audience to him, and we go to premium. And they'll be like, "Why are the numbers not going up?" But you know what?
That is not me appealing to authority.
I'm doing his show tomorrow, so I'm
fair.
even. I'll hurt him today.
You're
and
doing
do what
Timmy's
I can to
show
help him tomorrow.
All right.
Well, I just
today,
think that
right?
I mean, look, I think I'm doing it the right way, and I obviously me and you would disagree on that because that's why you're doing it the way you're doing, and that's why I'm doing it the way I'm doing. But I would say, look, where I will really agree with you is that there's no question, right, that there is this knee-jerk reaction to like if anybody's supporting Israel now to say $7,000, you're a shill, and this is all kind of like low IQ stuff. I don't know. And then obviously there's the reaction to call everyone like a Jew hater or whatever.
Davey boy, you can't say low IQ no more, man. You can't do that, bro. It's like, leave that alone. I know it's the internet thing, and it's, low IQ and based and, the internet shit. Like, leave that alone, man. Don't do that. Low IQ. Like, Crowder, once again, Crowder knows nothing. Did he say anything about, like, actual foreign policy this entire fucking video? I don't think so. And yet he ran you around, like, survived it. The guy, the debate king, right? Crowder survived that. Like, don't bring up IQs no more, man. Just leave that alone. Let the kids do that, right? The kids on the internet, let them do that. You have a low IQ, bro. Huh? Let them do that shit. Don't do that. You shouldn't do that. I'm sorry, Dave. You shouldn't be talking about IQs, bro. Leave that alone. Anyways, here we go.
Action to like if anybody's supporting Israel now to say $7,000, you're a shill, and this is all kind of like low IQ stuff. I don't know. And then obviously there's the reaction to call everyone like a Jew hater or whatever, which is not true, especially for me. I happen to be Jewish, but regardless of that.
By the way, you're circumcised, right? We had a bet before you came on air. It's completely unrelated, but.
Levity.
Yeah. Okay, so we have common ground there. Good for you.
We are there. There you go.
Levity, feel good about
ourselves.
In
it myself, but I wasn't able to make the choice. Yeah, there you go. So I would say this. I think that yes, there's a lot of craziness on all sides, but at the same time, I think that there are
incredible.
Like if you're saying that you're also a non-interventionist and you also don't want to be getting involved in these wars, and you also don't want to be funding all of these other governments. Well, it does seem to me that. And again, I don't watch enough of your show to know this. Like maybe you're doing other stuff that I just happen to see the stuff where you're being critical of me. But like, it seems to me like you're going out. We now have this big divide where finally there's like a non-interventionist right wing in this country. And there are these huge voices that are pushing in that direction. And it seems to me like you've been kind of going after all those guys rather than like, why not go after the Mark Levins and the Ben Shapiros who are clearly itching to get America into a even more entangled, the opposite of the policy you want.
I can answer that. And then I do want to go to, I can answer that because you mentioned the falling out. By the way, I never had it with Ben Shapiro. I had it with Jeremy Boring. I stand by it. I think that I was right. I think owning people's name, image, and likeness forevermore, including their channels, is a problem. I think we've seen it play out. I disagree with Ben Shapiro on a whole lot. And the reason that I maintain a cordial relationship is so that I can disagree with him. I don't know that there are many people who tell Ben, I don't think we should be funding any of it. By the way, Jews can also be kind of annoying. So I think there's some health in that. I will say this. I will say this. Yeah, I know. Not yourself, actually. There's enough Gentel in there. I will say that my attacking the left is about probably 20, 50 to 1. Even on this very issue, and like you said, you may not know this, I was asked on air if the United States should strike Iran, actually. Everyone here. And I was the one, I said, you know what? No. I said, and the reason is not that they're not a threat. I said, I know it comes.
That response right there. You know what? No. It's like, what does striking Iran mean to you, Steven Crowder? It's like, you fake Christian, anti-fucking Christ-ass mother. Not calling him the Antichrist. He's not, sorry. I didn't mean that. I mean like
Too far.
fake Christian, devil worshipping little fuckface. No, that's that is on par to me. That is what Crowder has been the entire time I've ever seen this guy talk out loud. Has been a devil worshipping little fuckface that will use biblical shit to crush other people, which is the most anti-Christian thing as far as I understand. Like on the surface, or any religion, they're all against shit like that. But Crowder's using Christianity. Obviously, that's his medium to use for manipulating people on behalf of other devil worshippers. But either way, it's like, nah, Crowder, you're you're something else has had. You have ulterior motives, in my humble opinion. And don't worry, people like Dave Smith will allow you to survive like that without asking you questions to let you showcase what Jordan means by that. Yeah, if you get asked certain questions, and I'll watch you dance around it. Hey, Crowder, is it okay to like just bomb children? Is that okay? Well, in what context? Like that's a bad answer for that. Like that's bad no matter what you say. No matter what your context for that is, it's bad no matter what. And everyone knows it. But Dave's too dumb to ask questions like that, or he will protect you for the sake of your platform, maybe, or his platform, or the internet, or whatever. Maybe he found out that Joe Rogan was the actual most what's the word, lucrative style of discussion is the Joe Rogan aspect, but maybe a little bit more pushback, a little bit more. But we can't. There's no way we can allow Crowder to walk away like looking like a bad guy. Not saying he's a bad guy personally. I don't think anyone's a bad person. I think people can behave poorly, like really badly. And Crowder's one of them to me. And don't worry, if you just talk to Dave Smith, you'll survive that. You're good. Everything's good. You're safe here. And thus, when Mark Maron says, "Hey, Rogan," or I guess in his stand-up, it was Theo Von, like, "Hey, Theo Von, if Hitler was in front of you, he'd have a pleasant old podcast, wouldn't he? He'd be able to say his points and say his ideas, and don't worry, no one's getting in the way of that." Dave Smith, is that where you're at? People called you kind of like a buzzsaw-ish, almost like Aaron Mate, the buzzsaw. Yeah, but I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing a lame. A doorstep? Not doorstep. What's it called? Doormat? Doormat. A fucking welcome mat. That's what you come off as, bro. Don't worry. Someday someone will mixtape Crowder, and you'll have to hide afterwards. Here we go.
Know this. I was asked on air if the United States should strike Iran, actually. Everyone here. And I was the one. I said, you know what? No. I said, and the reason is not that they're not a threat. I said, I know it comes to that at some point if they continue down this path. I said,
you want light or like, you know, do you want ice? You want ice in your cup or not? I don't need ice. I don't need ice in that. I can drink it regular, you know. I can drink it straight. Pause. Like, you're talking about bombing other human beings.
Like Iran, actually.
How you're not furious about
and I was
that,
the one.
Dave,
I said,
you
you know
actually
what?
care.
No. I said, and the reason is not that they're not a threat. I said, I know it comes to that at some point if they continue down this path. I said, but I know that if it's done now, the optics will seem like we did it for Israel, which I don't believe. This is where we disagree. I don't believe is true, but I would rather it not happen now. I just think that it's played out pretty well. I'm glad that it's de-escalated, which I think we can agree on. I think if you look at the numbers,
agree on that, Dave.
I do think you punch right more often than I do. Mine has been in response. But I think we're in agreement in spirit that, yeah, we should be, and I wouldn't just say going after the neocons, I would say going after the left, because Donald Trump is nowhere near, as we both agree, a neocon, and I'm not satisfied with him as perfection,
he's an idiot,
but I like him, and I want to actually celebrate the wins. Dave, and I want to continue on premium here, so please don't go anywhere. We'll just open it to whatever you want, but tell people the best place to find you. I know.
Okay, there's your video, guys. Dave Smith's a fucking idiot. If you fell for this, I don't know what to fucking tell you. I've been saying that he's kind of a ditz and a dummy, and I think he means well. It's just, once again, Hitler, the devil, the worst person worst being you could think of, apparently will skate by right past Dave Smith, and it's no big deal. Not calling Crowder that. I'm just saying his arguments are elementary and dog shit, and they skated past Dave Smith, which means why not just play dumb if you're full of shit? Just play dumb, and Dave will let you skate by. I'm sure on the premium thing behind the paywall, Dave scorched these arguments, but he didn't do it here. He is who I thought he was as far as like argumentation. He's mediocre, kind of carries people, and he's kind of a ditz. He's kind of a dummy. Okay, there you go. There's your video. Please subscribe if you feel like. Comment, agree, disagree. Tell me what you think in the comment section. I'm sure I'll be the idiot, and Dave's a smart guy, and Crowder, he destroyed Crowder. I understand that. Do your thing. But yeah, tell me in the comment section. Don't forget to share, support, hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Quietly, very, very quietly. Dubster will never see this, by the way. Shout out to Dubster Brian for what he did. I heard about it. Shout out to him. Also, please join the Discord if you want to join that and talk some shit. All opinions are welcome. All opinions. If you're a Crowder, if you're a Dave Smith, if you're one of us, whatever. All opinions are welcome. It's nothing pornographic or grotesque. And obviously, all videos you saw in this video will be linked in those show notes in the description box for you to look over it for yourself without us pausing, without our commentary, without our whatever. Talking over the video, without our frustrations, without our anger. Watch it clean as day, clean as a whistle, if you will, clean as day. Please go ahead. All links in the description box. And with all that said, most importantly, give this video a thumbs down. Fuck.